Weather over there. You look like you're sweating. It's hot.
No, it's not hot in Northern California. It is actually quite foggy in the Bay Area right now.
No kidding.
Yeah, okay. But I live by the ocean. That's why it's so bright.
Oh, you live by the ocean. Oh. Okay, everybody. All right, let's see. I'm just gonna check my YouTube stream, make sure there it is. Okay, and then I just gotta mute it. So, okay, everybody, we got 6 people already. So, if you are a previous watcher of Replicant Fish, you probably recognize my guest here today. This is Kai Nicole. She has recently made a book, and it is entitled Date Like a Woman. And I brought her on the show, and as you know, you guys have been waiting for the trailer preview. You guys came in. I know there's going to be more of you, so I ask that you share the stream, and this way we get more views, because I think we're going to have a good time. And, okay, yeah, like and share the stream. Okay, good. We got 12 likes, 8 people. If you want to ask very specific questions directly to the author, you obviously have the super chat system for that. So we'll see where everything goes from there. I haven't pre-interviewed Kai yet, so all of the questions that I asked are coming right off the top of my head, or they're going to be questions coming out of the audience, okay? All right, so let's get it going. So, hi, Kai. Just introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kai Nicole. I'm the author of Date Like a Woman. That's pretty much it, actually. That's why I'm here. I do videos occasionally on my Date Like a Woman YouTube channel. And Replicant, what's his name?
Replicant Fish.
Took one of my videos and used only the parts of my video that I guess made his video interesting, and didn't put like the reason. The video I made was, are modern women the cause of men's unhappiness? And he actually didn't even use any of the reasoning that I actually had on the video. And then after he did that, I had a bunch of trolls just descend onto my video, and they are still going right now. I just got another comment. So it's been interesting, like the last couple of days.
I don't know how, well, here's the thing. Before we even get into the book, or before we get into anything else, if you simply block and ban the trolls, that'll only basically make them martyrs, and then more of them will come. It's actually better to, you have to stand against them. Like you the thing about it is, I'm not saying you have to waste the time of engaging some of them, because the problem is they're just going to keep coming. I don't know how many views he has on that video, but they're going to keep coming. I can promise you that. So just banning and blocking them. What I've seen other people do is they turn off the comments. Now, that's one way to approach it, but that's not fair to your channel. And the thing about it is,
I actually get tickled at trolls that come. They use the same stuff that they always do. You're an angry feminist and you're single and have a cat. It just makes
sense. So I'm glad you said that. So you said about being single and having a cat. So here's the thing. I'm guessing you don't have a cat.
I do not have a cat.
Are you single?
I am not single. I'm also not 35. That was
you know what? Somehow we thought that you were 35 and single. I don't know how that got in there. I think it was the title of his video.
It was the title of his video. I was like, that's funny.
How old are you?
I'm 44.
Wow. See, everybody, black don't crack. I'm 39 and I turned 40 this year.
Yeah.
And we were looking at some other black women in their 40s, and we're like, yo, black don't crack. And I got guys like, oh my God, she's 40?
Yes.
44. Wow, good job. So you have kids?
I have a daughter.
You have one daughter?
One daughter.
Because I see that picture behind you, and I
thought you recognize that character? Does anybody? Because I got a comment said my walls were plain, but then I'm like, y'all don't recognize that character?
I have no idea who that is.
Won an Oscar.
Who?
I'll let you guys figure it out.
I guess somebody will figure it out, because I honestly don't know who that is. Okay, so you're not single, and so I guess you're planning on getting married eventually.
Keep my personal stuff like that.
Now, you wrote a book.
Will I get married? Am I married? Nobody knows.
Okay, well, no, because see, basically all we got to do is see that ring finger.
Oh, but I'm not showing my fingers, am I?
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so anyway, your book. Tell us about your book, Date Like a Woman? Tell us about the book.
So
Why should, in fact, I'm going to put up a picture of it. Why should the audience consider buying your book? And I do have female viewers too. So I'm going to put up a picture. Go ahead.
So Date Like a Woman is a dating guide for women. Okay. So I wrote it for women. Men have read it. Men do like it. So I'm not, saying that men can't read it, but I wrote it for women because what I found is that a lot of women complained about dating, but they didn't really know how to date. And dating is a skill. It's something that you learn how to do. So I wrote Date Like a Woman for women, and it's a dating guide and it has a lot of information for the ladies to understand how to date and make their dating lives better. The other problem with the dating is, the other thing I want to point out about dating is dating and relationships are not the same thing. So my book is only about dating. It is not about relationships. It is for single women who want to date. If you're not a single woman who doesn't want to date, this book might not be for you. But if you want to get out there and improve your dating life, this is the book you need to read. And I have lots of great reviews. You can check them out on my website or Amazon. A lot of women love it. Even married women have written about my book and said they wish they had read my book before they got married. So there's that.
Okay, so let me ask you something. What is a date supposed to be like? So I'll tell you like this. Okay, so this is my idea of a date. Now, keep in mind, I'm a product of the 80s, so I am a millennial. And this is when I take women out on dates, right? Mm-hmm. This, like I could pick any of the dates that I've been on. So I'll say it like this. So I live in New York City, right? Sometimes I've taken women on dates in, say, Times Square. Okay, so one of the times I took a woman on a date in Times Square. So I picked her up, and we met up. We went to Times Square. I parked my car. Now, mind you, that shit is really expensive. It was like $40 back then to park in Times Square. So I'm paying $40 already off the top, right? So then we went to what is it called? Ruby Tuesdays. No, wait, Ruby Foods. Ruby Foods. It's like Chinese food or something, but it's in Times Square, right?
Right.
So we went in there. I let her order what she wants. I order what I want, and I obviously hit the bill for that. And so here I am. I think I spent more money on the parking than I spent on the food. And then after we're finished eating, I paid a bill. We get in the car, and I drive her back to her place, and kiss goodnight, this, that, and other. Okay, so what's wrong with that, or what's right with that, in your opinion?
So I don't know what happened on your date, but I'm going to tell you what a date should be.
Explain that. That's what I want to hear. Explain that. Go ahead.
A date should be taking the time to get to know one another.
Okay.
So you and her should have taken that time, no matter what you did, no matter how much money you spent, to get to know each other, to see if you all have some commonality, some, compatibility. That is what a date should be. So if you're not taking a moment, taking that date to get to know her, and she's not taking the time to get to know you, why are you there? Okay. So I'm going to ask you, instead of telling me what you spent and what you did, what did you talk about? Okay.
So I talked to her a lot prior to the date, and while we're on the date, like we were talking, I think, about culture or whatever, because I could now. By the way, this date that I'm thinking of was a long time ago, right? Mm. So the thing about it is, we talked a lot on the internet, and I talked a lot to her in person before going out on this little dinner date. Like she wasn't new to me. We already knew each other, but I was just using this as an example of just going out on a date. Like if you're talking about when you first meet somebody, I could tell a different story for that one. So like,
no, it's not just, dating can be, you can go on multiple dates. You can date somebody actively, but the point is, with each date, when you're sitting there in front of the person, what are you talking about? What are you learning about each other?
Okay. All right. So I see what you're saying. So what questions are you recommending that women be asking during that date period?
Well, I don't recommend that you ask any specific questions because every person is different. I mean, ultimately, a lot of people are out dating because they want to have a partnership or a marriage. And some people don't. Some people just want to actively date. But ultimately, what you're looking for, if you do want that relationship, is compatibility. And so you're going to end up talking to somebody and finding out, do you like the same things? Do you like to go to the same places? Do you like the same music? Or you like the same television shows? I mean, you know, relationships, I think 80% of the time are you are just together all the time. And if you can't sit next to the person in silence or doing the same things and enjoying each other's company, why are you in the relationship? So dating is kind of like, you know, you get to know the person that you're talking to. Each date, you should be conversing and finding out what you have in common. But there are no specific questions for that because every person is different. There is no cookie cutter person who goes and fits with every single other person. Everybody has to find what works for them.
So what, again, like, here's the thing. If the guy leads the conversation, then the woman wouldn't get the questions answered that I'm guessing you propose that the woman be looking for, which is why I'm asking you, what questions should she be asking?
I mean, if you have a conversation with someone, it's just a natural flow.
What if he likes to go on and on about his job?
Maybe she likes what he does. Maybe she doesn't. Everything is about finding out what you all have in common. So I can't give women a list of questions they should ask guys on a date. Might not work. Like some people, for example, I will point out that there is a contingent of women that want really expensive dates. And then there's another set of women who are okay with going on walks. There's nothing wrong with either one of those things. Those women are different. And so to find somebody who likes to do the same kinds of things that you like to do means you have to have a conversation. And you might meet somebody and say, hey, do you like hip hop? If you like hip hop, but somebody else might not like that, so they wouldn't ask that question. You can't, give somebody a list of things that are going to be a one-stop shop for everybody to find a date or to find a relationship. That's why a lot of these, femininity schools and wife schools don't work. Because they're trying to sell this idea that everybody wants the same thing, and that's not true. And that's one of the things I talk about in my book is like, you are a unique individual. Everybody is a unique individual. So taking the time to date and get to know someone will improve your skills in dating and improve your dating life.
So again, what should the woman who goes on the date expect to get out of that date?
To get to know the guy that's sitting across from them.
Okay, so she's getting to know, and the guy, I guess you're going to say the same thing. So what should the guy get out of that date?
My question to you is, what do you want out of the date?
Well, again, see, here's the thing. I think when I go out, when I go on a date, basically I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So it's like if I take a girl out and we go and we're eating somewhere, right? Chances are I'm probably going to take her someplace I probably haven't been before because I wanted to go to that place, but I didn't want to go there alone. I wanted to take somebody. Like, for instance, there's a restaurant that I'm planning to go to very soon, and it's called Le Grenouille or Le Grenois. I don't speak French. And it's a French restaurant inside Manhattan, and the shit is freaking $175 per person, right? Now, I want to go there, but I don't want to go there alone. So if I was going to go, I want to take somebody on a date. But if I take somebody on a date, it has to be somebody special, worth spending that kind of money on. Now, I'm not just thinking about the money, but the thing about it is, if I go on that type of date, it's like, I want her to have a good time. I want to have a good time. But as for getting to know her, like her personal likes and dislikes, I think I speak for a lot of men when I say I'm not really so worried about those things. Because most men, I think if they like a woman, they're going to like her for whatever she is. They don't care what she does. They don't really care so much. Likes and dislikes, okay, I like rap music, but you don't. I don't think he's really worried about that,
So two things.
Huh?
Two things. Do you go to those restaurants because you're a foodie? You like food?
Well, I like, with certain I wouldn't say foodie. I have friends who are foodies and they go to places and they even write reviews. I used to write reviews and stuff, but not really for restaurants. I used to do it because I travel worldwide, internationally, right? So the thing about it is, if I go to a place like that, I want to have somebody with me and I want to enjoy that experience with somebody.
So you want to enjoy the food. You enjoy food.
The experience.
You enjoy the experience.
And
so
I do love food.
And you want, so here's the thing. That's something that you like to do.
Right.
So that experience would be better with somebody who also enjoys food, enjoys that type of thing. So when I say you're getting to know someone, maybe you met somebody and you haven't been to that restaurant. You start talking to her and you found out that she also enjoys going to restaurants similar to whatever the name of the restaurant that you were talking about, to enjoy the experience of eating that particular kind of food. If you ask that woman after you've talked to her before to go on a date to that restaurant, I can guarantee you that experience will be better because you both have something in common and you'll be able to enjoy it together. Right. So when you say that men don't care about what women, their likes or dislikes are, then you're selling yourself short. That means that you're going to end up dating people who you don't have anything in common with, and it's not going to be fun for you. So that's a big problem. If you think that you don't care about what the women you're dating like or dislike, that means that you're selling your own experiences short. Your dating experiences are not going to be as good because you're spending time with people that probably don't like the things you like. But if you go out with someone who likes the things that you like and you took the time to find out those things, you're going to have a better dating life. I mean, it works for men and women. It's the same thing that I say to women. You need to find out who you're dating. You need to get to know them. That's the most important thing.
But see, here's the thing where I think women and men diverge is it's just this guy who just put a comment up. He says, guys don't care about your career and income or your cat, right? Now, again, it always comes back to a cat.
Fluffy. He called me Fluffy.
I don't know if he's calling your cat Fluffy or if I don't think he called you Fluffy.
But either way, I didn't bring up my career, my income, and we already established I don't have a cat. So
I don't think it's personal aimed at you. But the thing about it is, I think men are focused more on just being able, because see, I think men have a level of romance where they want to ask a woman to go out, and for her just to say yes, it's mission accomplished already, right? So I would say, like, you know, he wants to go out. The men want to go out. They asked the woman to go on a date. If she says yes, as far as he's concerned, he already won. He knows, obviously he knows enough about her to say, this is what I like. He's not worried about all the minutia. Now,
the problem is he's attracted to her.
Right.
So let's be clear. Men see women they're attracted to. They don't know them. In fact, I find that a lot of men like the idea of a woman that they see on a screen and they're like, oh, I like her. But then they get to know her and then they don't really like her. See, that's why you have to get to know the person that you're dating. Because
but here's the question. If the guy doesn't like her, chances are there's not going to be a second date or a third date. That's happened to me. Like, I took a chick out one time.
And that's normal. That's normal.
Right.
I mean, I tell it to women and to men that sometimes you're not going to have anything in common and it's okay not to have a second date. That's just life. Not everybody's going to work out. Everything is not a love connection because you went on a date. And I think a lot of women, more women struggle with this idea than men. I think men are able to walk away from one date and just be fine, whereas women are taught to think that this has to be Prince Charming on the first date and it has to work. And I say in my book that women have to get away from that idea. It's perfectly okay to have one date and be like, wasn't interested and move on. That's part of dating. Dating is, sometimes you make a connection, sometimes you don't, and it's okay.
Now, here's a question. I saw a lot of people who were doing comments on some, because I watched a couple of your videos, and basically everybody was unanimous in their dislike of Kevin Samuels, right? So what do you say to Kevin? And I did this in a video with somebody else. Because she actually made her own video, and then I started commenting on it. So I went on her live. What do you say to Kevin Samuels' suggestion that after the third date, there should be sex?
He said that?
Yeah, he actually said that. He said, because here's the problem. There was a news report that said that there were women. Yeah, I know. There was a news report that said that women were using men for food dates and that they were
That's
dating
true.
men who they had no interest in whatsoever, but they were just dating them to go out. Like, for instance, instead of being lonely on a Valentine's Day, they would let a guy take them out, even if she wasn't interested in him. And she would go out, have a really nice date, and not plan on because this is a news story that you could actually look up.
No,
Right?
I've read the article. I'm familiar
Okay.
with that. And I mean, let's just point out that the majority of women do not go out just to get food. Okay, so let's start there. There was a minority of women that do that. There are women that do that. I don't fault them for it. I mean, if the guys ask her out and she wants to eat, you know, you win some, you lose some. You can't get angry at every single woman because a handful of women are using men for food. I mean, you just have to take an L maybe sometimes, but that's life. As far as what Kevin Samuel,
how do you put? No, let me cut it right there. How do you feel about Kevin Samuels specifically? And let me be very specific about it. So you're a 44-year-old black woman, right?
Yes.
A lot of black women in the community who know about Kevin Samuels have been basically saying that he's only attacking black women, and he returns and replies, but listen, I don't deal with other women. I'm black, so I talk about what I see because I'm black, right? Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. So a lot of women have been attacking the fact that he talks about women are being hypergamous and they're always chasing after the better or the richer guy. But the problem is, chances are they can't either handle that richer guy or they're not going to get that richer guy for whatever reason. The high value man, they call it, right? So me personally, I'm against that term, high value man. Now, here I am. I'm in New York City. I make over $200,000 a year. I've got 2 houses. I got 2 cars. I got stocks. I got this. I got that. I would technically consider myself a high value man, but he doesn't consider you a high value man for that level of money. He considers you a high value man if you're like a public figure or if you're making like 300,000 plus or $250,000. Like that's what his idea of a high value man is. But when the women come on, let me because I'm trying to case this argument. When the women come on, they say that a high value man, because most of these women, they live in the South, right? And the South is relatively cheap to live in. They believe a high value man is making $100,000 a year or better, and that under him they can stay home as housewives. They don't have to work. They think that a high value man is supposed to be able to buy them new cars when they need a new car. They think the high value man, somebody said that he should be making like damn near $250,000 or $500,000, and she should be able to be a stay-at-home housewife. And Kevin Samuels is coming on and telling these women up front. First, like you probably know about that video, Your Average at Best, where he brought a chick on and he said, yeah, you're only like a 6 or something if you're lucky. But because you have kids already, chances are you're 2 points below a 6. And then that started like a firestorm of women coming and joining his show. So my thing is, again, how do you feel about Kevin Samuels and his message specifically to black women?
Okay. Specifically, Kevin Samuels isn't important to me. And I'm just going to say it like...
But you have listened to his show.
I have never listened to his show. I have seen the viral clips.
You've seen the viral clips, so you have seen enough to understand what we're talking about.
This is how I truly feel about Kevin Samuels.
Okay.
Kevin Samuels was probably in 6th or 7th grade, and a girl hurt his feelings. Now he's popular. And this is his opportunity to take out his hurt feelings on women because he never got over it. And that's just my personal opinion. That's how I feel, because the amount of animosity he has towards women is not normal. No successful, happy man will sit on the internet and tear down women on a regular basis. It's just not normal. All the men that I know who are successful do not spend their time on the internet tearing down women for no reason. Like it doesn't even make sense. Now, I don't know why women continue to go to him, but then I don't know if you guys know about my blog, but my blog was the one that exposed the wife school for being, a cult and et cetera, et cetera. But what I have learned from that experience is that people who have low self-esteem, women with very low self-esteem, will go to these people that they think will help them. And they'll say, oh, they're telling the truth. But really, they're just hurting them more. And it's breaking and tearing them down more. So for Kevin Samuels to, I don't know, what does he do? He sits and does YouTube videos and tears women down. I don't know.
Okay, no. Okay. So here's the thing.
I don't really, and then let me get to the term high value man. So if you can't define something without subjective terms, it doesn't exist. Everybody has a different definition of high value man. So there's no such thing. There's just no such thing. The whole, high value woman, high value man, it's just people espousing their opinions, what they think that should be. But it doesn't.
So let me ask you this.
Mm.
What are the things that you demand in a man, especially if he's planning or if you think that he intends to marry you? What are the things that you demand?
I don't demand anything. So
nothing. So you'll date a guy who's got no job?
I don't demand anything. I don't attract men that don't have jobs.
So he must have a job.
I never said that. I've never been asked out by men who doesn't have a job. I've been, before I was where I am now in my life, when I was single, I have dated men who made way less than me. I have dated men who, there's completely different lifestyle from me, but it's it's not a big deal to me.
There's a woman who's in the audience and she says you're capping.
I don't know what that means. I'm old.
She's saying that you're not being, basically I believe cap means that you're not being sincere about your answer, that you do have demands that you're not mentioning.
I don't have demands. I have people who, look, the person I'm with is compatible with me.
What does that mean?
That means that we have similar backgrounds, we have similar goals in life, we have similar, expectations of behavior. I mean, that's what that means to me. We enjoy doing the same things. We have fun. We have great conversations every single day. Every single day. We laugh every day.
How long
that's what I look for, and that's what I have. I have a healthy relationship.
How long have you two been together?
We have been together almost 4 years now.
So why haven't you got married yet?
You don't know if I'm married. Y'all keep saying that.
Oh, okay. So are you married? See, here's the problem. If you,
I keep doing that. This is the question.
No, here's the problem.
Because I wrote a book about dating, my marital status is always in question, and I'd rather because
it's like, listen,
it doesn't validate my opinion whether I'm single or whether I'm married. It's not going to validate what I write.
If I write a book about brain surgery, somebody's going to demand to see my credentials about
my credentials I have 2 degrees, and
no.
That's my credentials, and I've actually dated. My book is about dating, so.
No, but degrees have nothing to do
when I publish my next book, which will be about relationships, then I'll put my marital status in that one. But my marital status when I wrote this book was in there, so you all can read it, find out. They really want to know if I'm married, huh?
Because the problem that we see is a whole lot of these relationship gurus and a whole lot of these women with PhDs writing these articles, the majority of them are not married. Either that or they're single or they're divorced.
Well,
so the problem is
a lot of these relationship experts, including Kevin Samuels, they come out to be frauds. I mean, look, you got what's the woman's name? The one that talks about women need to be feminine. I can't.
There's Nicole
Michelle. She's one of those. She has no man. She's never been photographed with a man. I mean, at least you can go to my Instagram and see that I'm in a relationship, whether I'm married or not. I live my life exactly how it is portrayed. I don't make things up or, try to pretend to be something I'm not. But it's more fun. For me, it's fun because they don't ask if Kevin Samuels is married. And he gives out.
No, he's divorced. He's divorced.
He's divorced. I've been divorced. So if I say I'm divorced, does that validate what I say? Because nobody's worried about Kevin Samuels in his marital status, whether he dates men or women. Nobody's saying that. But for me as a woman, and that's just one of the things about being a woman in the world and being an expert at anything, is that you're questioned about whether you're married. Does that validate me if I'm married? Who knows?
Well, here's the thing. There's a school of argument at this point that says that if you're writing relationship advice, that you should be married.
But I'm writing dating advice, and I wrote it when I was.
But the relationship dating is the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's absolutely not the same thing. Two different things.
Okay. See, here's the issue. You said that you're divorced, but you won't say whether or not you're married now. So the problem is the assumption, and even Replicant Fish put this out there. The assumption is just like we started off that you're 35 and single. So that's the problem. He doesn't understand. He doesn't, unless you specifically make these points clear. He doesn't understand that you're 44 and quote
unquote. My video wasn't about me. My video that he used,
but he didn't know.
Yeah, but he didn't need to know. My video was about our modern women, the cause of men's unhappiness.
So what do you think? Are modern women, what do you think about that? Are modern women...
If you watch the video, I talk about how, sexism and patriarchy has been very restricting to men. And as things change, men in this era are struggling with their changing roles in society. That's why the male suicide rate is 3 times the rate of women. Like, this is the difficulty that men are having, especially men who are really angry at feminists, is that feminism, and they're not just women who are feminists, men are feminists too, actually helps men too, because we allow men to express themselves emotionally. We give them space to be different, to step outside of traditional male roles. And that is what's causing men to struggle so hard. Like, the fact that you were bringing up how much a date costs, like, men are so focused on trying to provide or trying to pay for everything because society dictates that you have to take care of a woman. Well, I don't agree with that. And I'm not one of those women that believes that. I believe that people have choices. If you meet a woman who wants to be taken care of and you want to take care of a woman, then great. But if you meet a woman and you don't want to do that and she doesn't want to do that, that's great too. It's all about choice. But men right now, they don't know what their roles are and they're getting upset, but they're getting upset at the wrong thing. They're attacking feminists, attacking women, instead of attacking the system that made them unhappy in the first place.
So now, when you say the system, what do you mean by the system?
Patriarchy and sexism.
Now, when you say the system and you're saying patriarchy and sexism, when I say the system, I'm talking about the welfare state and the government. You've probably heard the term, and let me case this, that many men are upset because they feel that women are married to the government and that the only reason why women are able to basically be the way they are right now is because of this growing welfare state, because ultimately women outvote men. So what they're doing is they're voting for more and more financial aid from the government. Now, if there was no government, we would be in a country, let's say like the Philippines, where poverty continues to increase and women have to be more careful about, how should I say, illegitimate childbirth, simply because there's no safety net, there's no welfare system. There's another example. A lot of the men who you probably hear talking on the internet, they're disappointed because they've probably gotten screwed in the child support system or they've gotten screwed in the courts. So basically it comes down to 3 things. And I'll tell you from a man's point of view why most men do not want to marry. And I've got women in the chat that saying that what I'm saying is true. First of all, men don't want to marry because right now they don't trust women in general. And they don't trust women because they feel that women have been given an unfair advantage by the court system. They believe that the court system is ultimately going to take their children away from them, allow their woman to move on with herself, go get some other guy out there, and then they either won't be able to see their kids or they're going to have a lot of headache and fever dealing with it.
I got to stop you.
Go ahead.
All right. I don't know if you really believe all that you just said.
Well, the people who are hearing me say this are typing hundreds, including the women.
I see that. I know I'm in a different world from you guys. I live in a different universe. So I'm going to address a couple things.
Okay.
As far as the court system goes.
Okay.
The court system in the state that I live in is a court of equity.
Now, you're in California.
Right. I also lived in other states. This is not the only state I've lived in. I've dealt with the court system in many states. All right, listen up, fellas. If you have children, do you have a child or children?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No. I'm not married yet. Right now, I'm 39, and I'm dating a 23-year-old foreign girl. And
I'm gonna talk about the foreign girl thing. Lord. All right, so let me break it
Who's
down.
that person back there that said "Good Lord"?
Ooh, Jesus.
Well, we I'm not by myself. Well, let me break this down with the
Go ahead.
fellas. If you have children, the court, the custody courts, the child support courts are courts of equity. They are looking for the best interest of the child. If you have children, you have just as much right to your children as the mom does. What you have to do is go and get your child, get custody. You can get custody. You can get child support. Right. You can fight for your child. Now, if you don't take the steps to use the system to protect your rights to your children, that's on you, okay? The system is set up for both parents to come in and find out what's in the best interest of the child. That's what it is. That's how it works. If you don't have an attorney, most of the court systems in the United States have legal aid. You can go in, they will help you fill out whatever you need to fill out to get a, attorney or someone to help you to get your rights to your child. There's no parent who has more power over the court system than the other. That's just the facts.
What?
This is the facts that you don't.
Wait. There's no parent that has more rights
power in the court system over the other. There's no parent. There's no such thing. I see a lot of memes and stuff about child support, and that just means that you didn't fight for your rights, that you're not involved in your child's life. Now, if you're involved in your child's life, you see your child every week, you see them every day, you spend time with your child lives with you. If your child lives with you as a man more than they stay with their mom, guess who gets the child support? You do.
Yeah, the person who's but here's so let me break that one down right
there. Let's stop before you go on. I want to be clear that we are on the same page, that the court system is not unfair to men.
You don't think that the court system
is not unfair to men if they fight for their rights. Now, if they go in and say, this is bullshit, I can't get my kid, and they make it, that's on you, bro. That's on you. That's your responsibility. You step up and go into the court system and take care of your business and your children, and you will be okay. You will win. I know plenty of men who have either split custody or full custody of their children. Now,
here's the problem. Here's the thing. The issue ultimately isn't just about the custody, and it's not just about the child support. If a woman chooses to, and the statistics show that it's like the majority of divorces are filed by the woman. It's like 80% or something, right? If the woman decides to break up and take the kids and divorce,
that's not how court works. They can't just break up and take the kids.
No, listen.
That's false. I want to stop you because that's false.
No, but that's not. No, listen. That's not. I'm not saying that the court is just because let me finish the sentence. What I'm saying is that if a woman decides to leave and divorce and split up and take the kids, the problem is, especially when it's a young kid, the courts consider the woman specifically to be you're shaking your head, but let me finish. The courts specifically allow the woman to be considered the primary caregiver, and that's actually the term. So let me finish.
Wait. I need you to understand that primary caregiver only means the person who takes primary care of the child. It does not mean mother.
I understand that, but as a very young child, especially an infant, it's usually the woman that gets the primary caregiver status. Now, here's the problem, though. If the woman files divorce and she leaves, right? So we'll go that far. If the woman files divorce and she leaves, and then she hooks up with some other guy, the father of the kid is still on the hook for the child support, and he has to deal with the fact that now his kid is in the household with some other guy because she may decide to shack up with somebody else.
They're divorced.
Right. It's his kid.
But it's his kid.
He'll be responsible for his child.
His child. You take care of your children.
But
is there a way I could get that guy next to you to also move in? Because it seems like he wants to be on.
No, he's not gonna get on.
Because these people in the chat are saying that
you guys are saying that I'm hearing that she moved in with somebody else. She's divorced.
Yeah, but it's his kid. It's the first guy's kid in the house with somebody else.
So are you saying that people shouldn't move on?
Well, hold on. So how many cases have you seen where there's some live-in boyfriend molesting a kid, or some live-in boyfriend gets tired of the kid and beats him to death? How about that?
I know that happens, but that's not. I mean, are you saying that women shouldn't be allowed to move on with their lives because some other guy has killed somebody's child? I mean, what you're presenting to me is that you feel like you are possessive over the woman because you had a child with her. And that's not how it works.
What I'm basically saying is that in any other country without a welfare state and a court system like this, that wouldn't be allowed. That's what I'm saying.
But what you're saying is you want women to be possessed. And
no, what I'm saying is that a man, well, and you call it paternalism, but if a man, especially if the marriage is basically through the kid at this point. So now you're understanding the reason why men don't want to marry women at all. So here's what happens. What happens is men just like me decide that instead of taking an American woman, what we're going to do is we're going to go overseas, get a foreign wife from a country and a culture that we don't have to worry about, and that we don't never have to worry about her divorcing, or that we never have to worry about her trying to take the kid and run.
Okay, so let's talk about going to other countries.
Let's talk about that.
So you have this group of men who have a hard time dating here.
No. It's not that we have a hard time dating. It's that we do not want to marry American women.
Okay, you don't want to marry American women, so you go to poorer countries where the women are basically exploited because they don't have the money, they don't have the power. So you're using exploitation to marry. Which, I mean, it's your option. But that's what you're doing. You're not really, I mean, she might not really like you, but she sees you as a way out of poverty. So you are taking advantage of power dynamics, saying, hey, I can pull you out of poverty, which most people want to be out of poverty if they're impoverished, and be with you. But, honestly, though, what is it? Like, when they get here, 3 to 7 years, how long does it take to get a green card? Most of these guys, they get the wives out of the poor countries, they come here, and then she divorces them anyway. So to me, when men say they're not marrying, wait a minute,
Go ahead.
When men say they're not marrying American women, it really doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. You can marry a woman from a poorer country, but ultimately, if she ever gets the power that she's looking for, she's probably going to leave you anyway.
Okay, so let me just run this one. Let me run this one. I have an uncle, right? He's retired NYPD. He retired, came out. I guess he got his 3/4 pension or whatever. Now, he already was basically what you would almost consider a high value man before around the time of 9/11, right? So he already had a house. He came out, retired, got his pension, right? He decided that, no, I do not want an American woman. So what he did was he flew on down to Dominican Republic. He got himself a younger wife. My uncle right now is 53. His chick is 14 years younger. She's exactly my age. I'm 39. She's 39. She probably turned 40 just now because her birthday was right before mine, right? So she's 40. He's 53, right? Mm-hmm. So they got 3 kids. They got a gigantic house. I could show you photos. They're very happy. She started working at home. She started traveling because her job made her travel. And now, because of the pandemic, she's a stay-at-home mom. They got 3 kids. The family is very happy with him. The father's very happy with him. The mother, and one of the things he said is one of the things that men should be looking for is a woman's relationship with her father. Because the thing about it is a lot of women in America do not have good relationships with their fathers. A lot of women in America do not have good relationships with their mothers. And that's part of the reason why a lot of people believe that the culture is toxic. So as far as my uncle goes, he went to DR, got him a wife. They've been married since 2011. I flew down to DR for the wedding, right? And now, as far as what you're saying about a lot of men getting women and then the women are leaving them, the thing about it is, first of all, there's a lot of cultures that abhor divorce. They absolutely refuse divorce. Filipinos, for example, they have no divorce in their culture. Then there's Arab cultures. They absolutely refuse divorce. They don't have them, right? So there's a lot of American men who go places like Philippines and Thailand, and they're meeting women, and they're getting married. They're having stable, loving relationships. There's no histories of domestic violence and none of that. But because of the fact that these men are relatively high value, they go and they usually get a younger woman, especially like even me. I wasn't specifically looking for a young woman. It's just that I ended up attracting one easily since the mere fact that damn near I make like 4 or 5 times her entire family combined. So for me, when I go to their country, I'm priced out of the market. You see a lot of American men going to Brazil. I'm not into Latinas. I'll just say that up front. But they're going to Brazil. They're going to Africa because, Eddie Murphy said, get you a fufu. They go to Africa. They go to Brazil. They go to the Philippines. They go to Thailand. They go to China. They go to South Korea. They go to all these other places. But they would rather risk that much money than to just stay here and take the chance on an American woman. How do you address that?
They can do what they want. It doesn't bother me that these men, I mean, honestly, I find that most of the men that say that are already struggling to date the women here. So if they can go to a poorer country and use their, I guess, money to attract a woman who's already in poverty and looking for a better life, it's a trade-off. It's like, good luck to you. It doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't faze me or bother me. I just know that that's how power dynamics work. You're using something of value to attract what you want. And that's, you had to go to a poorer country to do it. It is what it is.
What do you say to the women who are going to end up being the victims, who are going to end up being the single moms who don't end up getting married? What do you say? And I'm talking specifically about the women, and you say you don't watch Kevin Samuel's show, fine. What about the women who are going to be reading your book who are having a hard time with the men because the men would rather fly overseas than to even take them on a date? What about the women who are in your chat talking about how bad Kevin Samuels is? And meanwhile, those women can't find any men who want them for whatever reason. What do you say to them?
So I don't know if you read the study, but single women with no children are the happiest. And
really?
This idea that all these women want to get married it's not really true. There are some women. Wait a minute, I didn't interrupt you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There are some women who want to get married, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that you think that all these women are dying to get married, it's not true. I mean, I see them on the Kevin Samuels channel, and honestly, most of the women that I see that are really dying to get married are the women that think like you and want the high value man. I don't get it. They want to be stay-at-home moms. They're not people in my circle. Most of the women I know, I have a lot of married friends. I have a lot of women who are living and doing wonderful things and don't want to get married or have kids.
Could you wait? I'm not interrupting you, but could you do me a favor? The study that you're talking about, I've never heard of it. Is it possible that while you're on your computer?
I don't have it in front of me right now.
No. Could you share it from the internet?
Yeah, I'll share it to you when I find it. I'll share it. But the fact that, times have changed. So there are women who don't want to get married. We have to accept that there are women out there who don't want to have kids, who don't want to get married, and that's okay. And so for you to present this idea that all the men are marrying foreign women and these women are going to die alone. Some women want to die alone. Some women don't care. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm tickled because all of these guys are, I'm going to a foreign country, and I'm like, okay, bye. Like, that's what most women, especially women who are, in my world, women who read my book, we're not upset. We're not hurt. We're not scared to be single. We're okay.
So if that's true, then why are so many women coming on the internet and going on shows like Kevin Samuels?
Like I said, those women that are going to Kevin Samuels think like you. That I don't know, because honestly, and I know they call them pick-me's, and they think men are the leaders. They think men are, supposed to be the breadwinners. Those women, completely different camp. They hate feminists too. I don't understand it. What I don't understand, honestly, is the women who hate feminism, who don't, who want men to lead them and do all these things. I don't understand why they don't hook up with guys like you guys. I don't get it. I don't understand why you all aren't getting together. It seems like they're right there. They're right there. Ready and willing to submit and everything. And it's like they're all single. And all the feminists I know who are married or who want to be married or have boyfriends or whatever, the feminists are, with somebody. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. Like, I see it And, you know, I see them pandering to the men, and they're single. I don't get it. I honestly don't. I wish I could understand it, but the women in my world, we're good.
Well, okay, now because when you say you're in California,
yes,
the women in California, whether they're black, white, Asian, Latina, they tend to be a lot different than the women in most of these states, especially the ones that are going. Because you think about it, over there in California, you typically don't have much of an obesity problem because most of the women are, for the most part, more fit, and then on top of that, the guys tend to be more fit. Now, when we're talking about the deep south and places where they're eating fried ice cream and fried chicken constantly all day long, there seems to be an issue, I would say, number one, with health problems for both for men and for women. So the thing about it is, I understand what you say when you say in your circle. I would say that maybe the women where you are don't have as much of a problem as women, especially as women who live in places where the cost of living is going up, or where they're having trouble getting men because the men have so many options. So, you know, are you okay with that?
Makes a difference. It's like an education level.
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened? Yeah.
I think, you know, I will agree with you that where I live is different. I've lived in Georgia. I lived in Atlanta a long time. And even there, my circle of friends, mostly married. It might even have to do with education level. It might have to do with that. I don't know. But I do know that the women who are most obsessed with getting married tend to hate feminism too, and tend to say a lot of the same things that you mentioned today. And I still don't get why those women are not hooking up with the men that believe the same things. And I'm really baffled by it, because I really like to understand, well, you guys want the same things. Why are you not getting together?
By the way, that story, the study that you were quoting, here's my question. Of those women that you claim that they say are happy even though they're single and they have their children, how many of them are on public assistance, i.e. welfare?
Probably none. I'm gonna.
You sure? I need to see that study.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you.
I really need to see that study. I'm gonna pull it up so that everybody can see it here, so that they can do their own research. Because my thing is, if they weren't on public assistance, my question is, how are they making ends meet?
Why do you think so many women are on public assistance, especially
because I understand economics?
Well, black women are getting degrees and education at a far greater rate than black men. So why would you think that so many women are on welfare? But I don't understand that.
Because I understand economics. Do you realize that right now Joe Biden is talking about giving out an extra $300 per kid? That's the welfare state at work. Now, here's my question. Would these women be so happy if, they're happy they got their kid, they're single, but they weren't eating? Would they be that happy then?
I'm just trying to understand why you're upset that government. First of all, white people are on welfare more than black people. That's just.
I didn't say anything about race.
But I know. I just want to point that out, that this idea that black women are on welfare is a false narrative.
I didn't say anything about
put
race.
Out into the world. I forget what election. So welfare queen. I think it was Reagan. So let's start saying by that. I just want to get this idea that. But on top of that, do you have an issue with government helping people?
Yes, I do. Yes.
So you don't want the government to help people?
The government isn't helping us by printing more money. You know what the government's doing? What the government used to do was they allowed us to outsource inflation by allowing us to buy products from overseas in Asia. So what we were doing was all that money they were printing, all that easy credit they were giving us, it was going overseas in the form of inflation. We were outsourcing inflation. Now the problem is we're buying less things from China. Partially that's because of the Trump administration trying to start a trade war with a country that makes more than 90% of our stuff. So the issue ultimately is now the government's allowing people to put that inflation in the cryptocurrency market and in the stock market. And that's the reason why you see the cost of living increasing. You also see the cost of goods and services increasing. There's an old cartoon, DuckTales, that teaches people about inflation. You cannot simply print money out of thin air without driving down the value of everybody's money. So what ends up happening is people are arguing that they need $15 minimum wage. Here's the problem. You start giving $15 minimum wage, all the costs of goods and services start to rise simply. And no. This is pure economic fact and law. This is economic.
That's not true. I mean,
yes,
I'm gonna let you have your moment, but I feel for anybody that's following you, because that's not true.
If I was wrong, they would say,
if you raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, that doesn't make goods and services go up. In fact,
absolutely it does.
No, it doesn't. Actually doesn't. It doesn't hurt these companies to raise the minimum wage. In fact, in Washington, D.C., they raised the minimum wage several years ago and the goods didn't go up. Walmart in Washington, D.C. has to pay their workers 15 something, maybe even more by now per hour. It hasn't changed it. Walmart can afford it. These corporations can afford the change. They just don't want to. And if they get people like you to believe that if they raise the minimum wage, then everything's going to go up. Well, you're just
so here's a question about the
narrative. Wait, I mean, it's a false narrative. It's not true.
A false narrative? How about your gas prices? When the last time you filled up on gas, how much was your gas compared to 10 months ago? How much?
Like I said,
how much was your food?
What you need to be really upset about is the corporate tax rate.
How much was your food? How much was your gas? How much was the last
tax rate is the issue. It's not working people earning a minimum wage that gives them the ability to take care of themselves.
So you're saying that you've seen no change in prices?
I'm not saying that changes fluctuate. I paid more in gas 4 years ago. But it doesn't mean anything. Those prices, when you're trying to compare the price of gas to raising the minimum wage, those don't go together. They don't go together.
No, but let me explain something. I'm a stock trader. First of all, everybody who's listening to me now knows that I've been following the price of gas, purchasing stock in oil and gas companies. I've been following gas since gas went negative last year, a year ago. And the thing about it is it did that because Russia and Saudi Arabia had a war between them for oil production, right? We had over 400 million barrels of oil sitting offshore. So we should have had an excess of gas. But here's the thing, though. When the government started printing money, when the economy started back up, when the government started printing that money to hand out as stimulus checks, you saw visually the cost of goods and services start to go up. Now that when they're printing out that money, that does not come without a consequence. It's just like, for instance, the government financing schools. When they're financing these colleges, the colleges figure, hey, we could just raise our prices because they're going to get it from the government anyway. So when they raise the price,
I'm sorry. I mean, I know you're very passionate about this.
If I was wrong, they would know.
I know you're very passionate about this, but I mean, these are not facts.
These are not facts?
They're not. I have two highly educated people in the room, and they're looking at me like there's a 0% tax rate on corporations and billionaires. Like the money that people need. People need to be able to live comfortably, and raising the minimum wage will give people the ability to take care of themselves. They will not make the cost of goods go up. It doesn't affect the cost of gas. I don't even know why.
So $15 an hour as a minimum wage is going to allow these people, especially in California, to be able to afford a living wage?
Not where I live, but in places in California, yeah, there are places where you could live off of $15 an hour. I mean, outside the Bay Area, the cost of living goes down extremely. But inside the Bay Area,
how much is an apartment in these places to rent per month?
In the Bay Area, Bay Area is number one in terms of cost of living.
So how much is an apartment to rent per month?
I don't know. But the Bay Area is one of the most expensive places to live. But that's just the Bay Area. It's unique. It's just
regional supply.
Yeah.
This guy must have some answers. So I was wondering about him.
I mean, it's not just, there are two, like I said, there are two highly educated individuals. And we're just like, this is what's wrong with America right now, is that people are perpetuating these false narratives about our government, about taxes, about gas, and people believe it because they don't have the right information. These are not facts that you're putting out there. You're leading people astray. I know that there are people who are watching this stream right now who will absolutely benefit from $15 an hour, who absolutely could use it, especially in Alabama and in West Virginia. They need that $15 an hour. They need it. And to deny people what they need is crazy. Government is supposed to help people. The government, we pay taxes. That's our money to make sure that people are able to live and have their needs met. That means housing, that means food, that means medical care. The fact that we are living in a country, one of the most richest countries in the world, and we have impoverished states like West Virginia and Alabama where people don't have their basic needs, and you're sitting here saying that these people shouldn't get $15 an hour? That's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, you can say it's ridiculous, but the economists agree with me.
The economists are not living in West Virginia.
But they ain't worried. What do you know? Well, first of all, off the top of my head, off the top of your head, what is the population of West Virginia? If you look it up right now, off the top of my head, it's less than 600,000 people. There's nobody there, basically. Those people are living in poverty because they chose that they were going to live there the way that they live. You can't just hand them money just because they felt like being segregated.
I guess those people don't matter to you.
There are less than 600,000 people there.
Alaska, so less than 600,000 people. Maybe California should stop paying federal taxes to subsidize those people.
Well, one second. California has less than 40 million, and I know that off the top of my head because California has more people than the entire country of Canada. So the thing about it is it's easy for Canada to say, yeah, well, we're going to give out these stimulus things and everything because they're dealing with fewer people. And not only that, their housing market is through the roof right now. If you go to California, you can't buy a house without getting a gigantic balloon mortgage. I work through finance. I understand what I'm saying. I'm not putting facts out that I'm not reading. I'm not making this up. If I was making this up, everybody would say I'm making this up and I'm lying.
I just think it's funny. I mean, this is what's wrong right now. Yeah, corporate tax breaks, billionaire tax breaks, working full time should support a family.
Well, your state, California, you guys are about to lose jobs because Tesla decided that they didn't like the way that they were being taxed, and they didn't like the way that the government.
I mean, as a black family, my family's here, and as a black family, this is what's wrong with so many black folks right now. They're listening to people like you and not understanding that people like you are actually harming us by putting out like this. Yeah,
how am I harming black folks who got
because you have all these people following you and listening to this and thinking
if I was wrong,
when it's not true. You're sitting in New York in one of the most expensive places in the country, and you're saying that 600,000 people in West Virginia don't matter, and we shouldn't. And that's crazy. That's callous.
Are you from West Virginia?
I'm not, but that doesn't mean that I don't think that people deserve to have a basic needs met. I think everybody in this country is an American.
So hold on. What are their basic needs? What are their basic needs?
Food, shelter, and medical care.
No. See, here's the problem, though. How are they going to get medical care if you have to have doctors to provide medicine and you have to pay those doctors? Where is all that money coming from?
Again,
we're just going to print it.
If people had their basic needs met, like a basic minimum wage that allowed them to take care of their families, to be able to pay for an apartment on one job, pay for food, and that the government provided medical insurance so that if they get sick, they don't lose their homes or they can't feed their children. That's what people need. And if the government provides that for people, you know what happens to the economy? It does better because people have money to spend to make the economy better. But if they listen to you and say, oh, we should begrudge people who are in West Virginia $15 an hour because they don't matter, I mean, that just sounds crazy.
But that wasn't the debate.
What he got to say, because he's got a lot to say back there. That guy's got a lot to say. He can scoot next to you and you can share the screen. What's his name? He can scoot next to you. I know he's got a lot to say.
I'm just watching people shake their heads. Look, I don't know how we got on this topic.
No, but you know what? This is all
I feel like
connected.
we were talking about dating.
Okay, good. No. And I'll go back to dating for a second because you just said something. You think that it would be easier for if people were able to live on one salary, right? Well, here's
we
something.
used to be able to live on one salary. You know that.
No. We used to be, guess what?
Right.
We used to be able to live
We used to
on
have
one salary.
unions and
But
people
do you
had
understand
salaries.
why we can't? Do you understand why we can't?
And then Reagan came in and they
Reagan came in
and took away the unions, and then people started having to work for so little. And that's what's wrong with us.
We can debate that on another day when we're.
Listen, we got plenty of time right now. All you got to do is move your chair next to her, and I'll let you share the screen. This guy's got so much to say. This guy's got so much to say.
He said he'll come on your show, but not right now.
He can come on now. What's he doing? He's eating food? What's he doing?
We're not doing that today.
Okay, but no, let me tell you this. Before Reagan, post World War II, women left the households and went into the workforce.
Because they had
to. No, listen. Let me finish
and the economy had to keep going.
Hold on. Let me finish casing the argument. The problem is when women went into the workforce, corporations knew that women spend more money than men. Corporations were determined to get women into the workforce because once you got women out of the households, instead of just relying on the men and their salary, they were able to now get twice as much, or if not 4 times as much, out of the women because women spend more money than men. So what my argument is that if men did not have to compete with women for jobs, then men would have higher paying jobs and the women could be housewives.
That's not how that works. So first of all,
that's not how. Okay, go ahead.
So first of all, afterwards in World War II, women went into the workforce because the men left to go to war. So they needed somebody to fill those jobs. Okay, there was not a competition. It was an economic necessity. All right, let's just be clear. That's why they went in. Now, as far as the women competing with men for jobs, that's not even a thing. It's not even a thing. Okay, stop it. I don't know why you guys are on this. There's no competition for men's jobs. It's like the same argument that white people make when they say that the immigrants are taking American jobs. The jobs that immigrants are taking are not even jobs that Americans want. So there's no competition. It's a false narrative. You're putting out false narratives. They're not
That's
true.
A false narrative. Oh,
yeah, wow. It's a false narrative. So if women... and then as far as women spend more because women are the head of the household spending, not because they spend more.
Really?
Yes, that's an actual fact. Women buy for the household. They buy the groceries. They buy the cleaning supplies. They spend more because they buy for their families. They're the person that decides what the household needs. That's a fact. You can look it up. Okay, they don't just spend more.
Where can I look up that fact? Where can I look that up?
Children's clothes. They buy the men's clothes. I see women buying all sorts of things: socks, underwear. Men who have wives, often the women are the ones who are going and buying the things that they need. That's just what it is. Okay, so that's another one.
Well, no. Okay, first of all, now you say that's a fact. I can look it up. Number one, I don't believe that.
Look it up. Women tend to make the decisions for the household.
Hold on. When it comes to a household, I'll just talk for myself on this one. I pay. I've got the income. I pay the electric bill. I pay all of the bills, the electric bill, the gas bill, whatever the bills, the water bill, the sewer and plumbing. I pay to do my garden. I pay all of those expenses. If something breaks in here, I had a problem with an oil tank. I paid $5,000 to fix that. Now, whoever is in charge of running and maintaining the household, whether it's a woman or a man, that person is obviously going to spend the majority of the money, but they're spending that money in towards the house. That's not the type of spending I'm talking about. I'm talking about women buying cosmetics, all the extra spending that women do for clothing. Men do not spend as much in retail as women do. Okay. And that is a fact. Women spend more money. Women right now, I go to get a haircut. My haircut's $10. How much is to do your hair?
So let's talk about the pink tax. How women's products, the same exact products, cost more for no reason.
But I get my hair shaved.
Wait a minute. Let's talk about it. You brought it up.
Okay.
So there's something called the pink tax. That means women's products cost more. Same products, soap, shampoo, haircuts. Women's haircuts cost way more than men's.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's a pink tax. Women have to pay more for the same thing. That's not in our control. That's just a fact.
But the point, no, but listen. I'm not arguing that there's a pink tax. I'm simply saying that women spend more.
Right, because our products cost more. We buy for our families. That's what we do. We don't have a choice. That's how that right there is a perfect example of patriarchy and sexism affecting how women spend. You pointed it out. It's not our fault that we have to spend more. Why does my shampoo cost more than your shampoo?
It doesn't.
Why does my soap?
Hold on.
Yes, it does. Why does my razor cost more than your razor? Because it's pink. It's true. No.
There's a reason for that. There is a reason for that. You know why your razor costs more? It's because typically women have more delicate skin. And second of all, I'm not sitting here shaving my legs. The only part of
That's not true. It's the same product. They're literally the same product. You can look it up. They're the same product.
They're not.
It is what it is.
There are certain products that a woman gets that men absolutely don't get, specifically feminine hygiene products.
Right, so and they charge more for those too.
My only point is you're going to spend more. You're going to outspend men. And as you get older, healthcare is going to cost a woman more typically than a man. That's a fact that comes from HIPAA.
We live longer. That's why.
Well, no. I'm not talking about the living longer. I'm talking about between the feminine hygiene and between the woman's issues when it comes to aging. I'm not even talking about living longer. We can say, even if both of us lived 100 years, you're going to spend more money on feminine hygiene, number one, and you're going to spend more money in upkeep of your body than I am.
Right.
So the corporation wanted you out of the household.
Society sells to women that we have to do all this upkeep and men don't. I mean, you're pointing out all the sexism, and it's great.
That's not sexism. Nature.
It is.
Listen, nature put the vagina in you and it put the breast on you in order to make you the primary caregiver of a child. It didn't do that to the men. No, excuse me. Men were expected by nature to go out and hunt for food, kill other animals, and protect women from other men. That's not true. That's not true. How's that not true? So why is it you have a vagina but not me? Why?
Well, you had one, but then when you were in utero, the hormones that came along from your mom turned you into male. Every fetus is female. Every single one.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That I agree.
Okay, so, the hormones change you into a man.
But guess what?
The fact that we are male and female doesn't mean that one of us was born to do one thing or the other. That's a belief. That's a belief. That people believe that women were born to bear children. We can bear children. We weren't born to bear children.
I know I wasn't.
That's a choice. That's a choice. That's a thing. We could choose if we want kids or not. We weren't put here on this earth just to have kids and serve men. That's just ridiculous. Men are not put here. Men are not, in the same term, what you said is sexist about men. That's the thing a lot of men are struggling with. Men are not here to protect us from other men. Okay? That's a sexist statement.
We're not.
There are men that are struggling with who they are because they maybe they don't want to protect women.
Let me ask you a question. Does your man protect you?
Do I protect him?
No. I said, does your man
first of all, protect me from what? When am I being
protected? From other guys who might slap you or something.
Why would a guy slap me?
Because guys are violent.
So what you're doing is pointing out that men are violent? Are you saying men are violent?
Yes.
So why should he protect me from them instead of you all as men saying, hey, we need to work on our issues and stop being violent? Why is that not a male problem that men have to work on? If that's what you're saying, if you're saying men are inherently violent, which I disagree.
Yes, I agree.
If you believe that men are inherently violent, why aren't you working on it to make sure that men are not violent?
Because men are evolved by nature to be the violent of the species.
So you really believe that?
Yes.
You believe you're a violent person?
I believe I am capable of levels of violence that you can't even imagine.
So you think that's okay?
I believe that that's there because nature intended for me to have those abilities in order for me to, number one, protect my female and to protect myself. It's called, why does the scorpion have a stinger? It's not because the scorpion's violent. It's because the scorpion has to protect himself.
I mean, if you believe that you have violent tendencies, I can't, I just can only laugh.
I said that in general, men were designed by nature and through evolution to be stronger, to be able to defend women from other predators and other men. You don't believe none of it. See, your guy over there,
I mean, I'm sitting here living in this
I live
in a house.
Where is he?
I live in a house that don't have. I mean, there are predators in my neighborhood. There are mountain lions out here, but I don't feel like.
Okay, perfect.
I don't feel like I'm in danger of mountain lions attacking me. We got coyotes too.
Hold on. You got a mountain lion or you got a coyote? A coyote or a mountain lion comes up to your house and decides that your ass is for dinner. What are you going to do about it?
I expect you to fight.
They ran away. I mean, they ran away. Just to be honest, I went outside because technically I'm a predator, because to them. So they ran away. But hey, if you want to be a violent guy,
you're telling me that your man is just going to stand there and let you fight the coyotes hand-to-hand combat? Is that what you're telling me?
Look. We work together. We're going to be fighting these coyotes together.
So now you need him. So now you need him to fight, right?
I'm outside by himself with the coyote.
Oh, so now you need him to fight the coyote.
I don't need him. I said we're going to fight together. He'd be pissed off if I ran and left him with him. I think most men be like, really? You just left me?
Now you better get back here.
So here's a question. Would you prefer it for your man to be out there fist fighting the lions, or would you prefer him to have a gun so he could shoot the lions? Which would you prefer?
Look, this conversation has gone to a place.
No, but see, the
problem funny.
Makes sense.
I can't take it seriously because you're saying things about men. This is a problem. You have men who believe these things about men that aren't true. And it's sad because this is why men are suffering. And I'm going to just point out, men are suffering because of these stereotypes. They can't live up to these stereotypes. And then they feel like they're less than a man. Then they get depressed. And then they kill themselves. This is the problem. You guys got to stop believing this foolishness because it's hurting you in the long run. This is like, you don't have to look. We live in 2021. Y'all are not running outside protecting women from mountain lions. It ain't happening.
But you got to protect women from other men. What about the rapists out there? What about the sex molesters?
Look, listen, rape happens a lot, but honestly.
No, but I prefer it not happen. I got a gun.
There's usually never anyone else there in the room to protect somebody from rape or sexual molestation or anything like that. That doesn't happen. You got to be realistic.
By the way, on that subject, who do you call if somebody's threatening you? You call the cops. You know what a cop is? It's a man with a gun.
Not
always.
Okay, maybe it's a female with a gun, but the bottom line is it's usually going to be a man with a gun.
You might get a female cop.
It might be, but that's only recent.
You're not making your point. I know you're trying to, but at this point, you're just letting the same stereotypes that are hurting men. You guys are hurting yourselves. Believing this, putting yourselves in this position to live up to this idea of masculine man who protects women and is, violent tendencies and jumps out in front of, cars to stop women from getting run. It's not real. It's not real. And it's hurting you because a lot of men really feel like they're not manly enough. They can't live up to this idea. I don't make enough money. There are men right now who don't make as much as you say you make, and they don't feel like they're manly enough to attract a woman. This is serious that you guys are believing the stuff that's actually.
Hold on. 1 second. You're saying you think that the men don't feel that they're manly enough to attract a woman. No, I'm going to change I'm going to say that most of those men who are sincere and trying to talk to some of these women are being completely ignored because the women themselves are going after quote unquote high value men, or in some cases those men are afraid that they can't talk to the woman at all because she's not going to talk to him because she looks down on him because perhaps he's a plumber or something like that. And some women specifically say aloud that I only want a corporate suit dressed guy who makes a lot of money.
Right, because what has been presented, those men are supposed to be the most masculine. The man that makes the money, not the man with the blue collar job. That's all in patriarchy. That is all men making those rules. Those men, they probably not, the women are not looking down on you. This is all the men, those men are looking down on you and saying you're not good enough to attract these women. And these men believe it. You know, you all believe that you're not worthy because you don't meet a certain stereotype. And that's causing depression. That's a real thing. You're not living up to what you believe is masculine. So now it's making you feel bad about yourself. And instead of looking at the system that's in place to make you think that you're not living up to that idea, you say, oh, these women, they just want that high value man. You know, it's a system that men created. You got to tear the system down so that you don't feel that way.
There's a woman named Penny. She did a show with me a little while ago. She's a black woman who's in Michigan, and she runs a shop. Her comment goes is this. She says, she pissed me off about the court system. The court automatically grants the mom sole custody. Then the dad has to go back and appeal the decision. I have kids, I know.
No. That's not how it works. That means that either she filed and you didn't respond, which you have time to respond. This custody court takes months, sometimes years. It does not work like that. When a woman files for custody, she has to go to the court, do the paperwork, then you get an opportunity to respond. Every single court in the United States works the same way. If you don't respond and you don't show up, then that says you don't want your child. And yeah, she'll get custody. But if you show up, you respond, and you work with the system, she won't. And the court will take the time and look at the evidence, who has a child, how long. They figure out what's best for the child. So that's not true. I don't care what they say. I pull up the paperwork and prove it to me, because no court is just going to automatically grant a mother the baby. Right. That does not happen. So if you all are struggling with custody of your kids or child support, don't run away from the paperwork. Go to court. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for your kids. You love your kids. Go to court. Do it.
Well, let me say this. And I usually tend to end up in these conversations with men who, some of them insist that they should go to fucking court. They should try to defend themselves. And I keep telling them that would be a horrible, stupid idea because you don't know the law. But let me ask you this question. Do you have a background in law when it comes to family law?
Yes, I do.
Are you a lawyer?
I'm not a practicing lawyer.
You're not a practicing lawyer?
Yeah, I did graduate from law school, and I'm very familiar. Very familiar with custody courts, and I understand how they work. And so again, I every time I see a guy complain about it, I know he didn't do what he in his own best interest for his own children. You know, he can go and you know what, guys, honest to God, if you are having issues with custody court, I am on the internet. You can email me.
No, but here's the problem. If you're not a practicing lawyer,
I'm not going to charge you. But if you ask me a question, I'll help you out. I will steer you in the right direction. Because
let me just say this before this goes on. See, because as I want you to understand, I'm not targeting you personally or anything. One of the reasons why I do this is so it kind of does help people network. Because a lot of the people who've come on, they've started relationships with some of the other people they may have met. So if you're saying this, my only question to you is, if you're not a practicing lawyer, then all you can basically, can you I
can steer them to practicing attorneys. I can also just answer simple questions or even send them to the right forms. The problem is I just hate hearing guys say that the courts are unfair when they're not. That means you're not, using your own rights to your kid. That's all it is. Don't sit there and complain about the courts. Be active in the courts to get your kids or get, child support set at the right rate. That's not how the courts work.
Okay, and again, Some of these dudes, I've heard them say this, and I shout them down every single time I hear them say this about defending themselves in court. I do not believe in that shit because I already know that they don't know courtroom procedure. No. And that all it's going to do is end up making things worse for them.
Right. And a lot of times they're very confused about the process. Custody court is long. Okay. It doesn't happen overnight. It's very slow. It's a very slow process. It's very expensive. But again, every single court system has legal aid. They will help you, but the process is long and you have to listen. You have to do whatever it is they're telling you to do. So just understand it's a process. But if you follow the process, you'll come out okay. But you have to do the process. Just stop believing that it's just unfair. Okay? Please stop.
Well, but see here. Okay, so I will say this. Now, keep in mind, I've never married yet, and I didn't have children yet because I focused on building up my wealth first. And like I've dated women a lot. I've my thing is I haven't had to deal with the whole thing about court and custody. I've never had to deal with that, right? I only know from anecdotals of what I hear and what I see, and people coming and talking about the end result. So once again, I always tell people, do not try to represent yourself. You ain't that smart. That's number one. Number two, somebody asked, did you pass the bar?
I have not passed the bar.
And then I got one guy right here. He might get a chance if you want to take talk at all to any of the people. He claims that he did it and won, and then he tells me to hush. I'm like, listen, he is a military trained guy. So his abilities when it comes to court procedure, because of the fact that I know he's disciplined, might be a bit different than the average person off the street with a baby mama who's going to go into court and get railroaded. So fantastic. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the average guy who I think would probably get destroyed.
Yeah, he's saying he sat in the law library.
Right.
Most people are not going to do that.
Yeah, most people don't know nothing about no goddamn court procedure.
But the fact that he won is telling men he's a guy. He went to court. He won. Hello. The whole idea that women automatically win is not true. So please stop perpetuating that particular false narrative. Like, go out, fight for your kid. You can win. You can do it.
Okay, so here's the thing. Back to the whole idea about marriage. Why is it that you think men are in most, and I'm not just talking about even one race, blacks, whites, even Hispanics, why is it men are waiting longer and longer and longer, and in many cases refusing to get married?
I think society is changing in a way a lot of people don't want to get married. And I think that we have to get to a point where we're okay with people not wanting to be married. It's okay. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal anymore. I think back in the day, a lot of people got married for economic reasons, and society's changed in such a way that, people don't need to be in a marriage, which is a legal thing, to sustain their household. There's all sorts of ways for people to live now. So we can't always, expect people to want to be married. That's not a necessity at this point.
Okay, and again, but what about all the women who want to be married and want to flex that wedding ring and want to have a man who they call a husband, and they can't get married because the men just aren't interested in them?
I think a lot of that has to do with what they expect when they go out there to date. I talk about that in my book. I think just men and women both have a lot of fantasies around what dating and relationships are supposed to be like. And, a lot of our society has pushed onto girls that there's this Prince Charming out there and it's going to be a whirlwind romance and he's going to do, it's going to get on one knee and it's going to be happily ever after. And when it doesn't end up being that, they get disappointed with those experiences. But that's not a realistic expectation. And I think a lot of times people struggle with what they expect life to be like with what it's actually like.
How do you think social media is affecting relationships between men and women? Because in my opinion, I think social media is destroying men's views of women. I also think it's seriously hurting women's views of men. I think it's causing like huge stresses and whatnot, specifically Instagram, Facebook, and goddamn sure OnlyFans, because that's a mess. I go on Instagram and I'm seeing damn near softcore nudity from regular females. And I wonder to myself, I'm like, if they have a boyfriend, how can he tolerate this? Because
I mean, first of all, okay, let's start with
go ahead.
What your first thing was, how I feel about social media. Okay. Social media, it's not real, y'all. First of all, in my real life, I don't even have these conversations with the people in my circle. In fact, I think people need to log off of social media more often and just interact with humans outside of the computer or the phone. As far as a woman posting pictures of herself, nude or semi-nude, it's her choice. If you don't want to post nude pictures, don't post nude pictures. If you want to post semi-nude or nude pictures, post nude pictures. And then on top of that, if she has a boyfriend, a husband, he does not own her body.
Here's a question. Do you consider yourself Christian? Do you believe in?
No, I'm not.
Okay, you're not. Okay, fine. So here's my question. So you're saying that a man should not be upset whatsoever if his female or his wife, whatever you want to call it, not wife, because chances are he's not wifing up, but his girlfriend is on Instagram or on Facebook, and she's got a big profile. There's a lot of guys following it. So should her boyfriend feel any certain way if she's getting hundreds of dick pics on Instagram sent to her direct messages? Because, and I'll say this. Let me say this. I've been kicked off Facebook for political arguments and fights. So what I did was I started an account using a female avatar to make it appear that I was actually a female, right? And when I did this, Facebook totally ignored me, and they let me say pretty much whatever I wanted, and I never got in trouble. And that's when I realized that if you pretend, I'm a black male, obviously, if you pretend to be a white female or you pretend to be a female in general, you get away with a lot, right? But one thing I noticed about my profile was all of a sudden I was getting lots and lots of unsolicited dick photos. So should a man be upset if his girlfriend is getting lots of dicks sent to her direct message? Should a man be upset about that?
I mean, she can't control the men sending her dicks, right? Like
she can't control what she puts out.
She doesn't have any control over that. And can I ask a question? Why do y'all do that?
Why do we do that?
Why do y'all send dick pics?
Because see, here's the problem. Your idea of male and female dating ain't. I think we can agree that most men don't see things the way you see it. In fact, they haven't read your book, so they don't see things the way that men are competing, and that's the word. Charles Darwin would say the same thing. Men are in direct competition with other men for females, and men believe in their mind that if they have a bigger, girthier penis and they send a photo, yeah, see, your guy is loving this. If a man has a bigger, girthier, more virile penis, and he's got a big body that's chiseled, he's got six-pack abs, and this, that, and other. Men believe that if they're sending big cock photos, that she's going to choose him over the man she's probably with. What do you say about that?
Oh, God, I'm sorry for laughing. That's what men believe. That's not what women do. Okay, men believe this. This is, again, another effect of patriarchy and sexism. You guys are making the rules. You all believe a big dick is going to make women lose their mind.
Yeah.
Women don't even react to it. In fact, we don't like when men send dick pics. We hate it. We just like, why are you doing this?
Why is it that you don't delete them immediately and say don't send anymore? Why is it that you'll catalog them in your phone? Why is it that you'll store them on a computer?
We don't store them on a computer.
I know women who do.
In fact, I don't even respond when dick pics show up in my inboxes. I just think it's like, why would you send that? In fact, can a dude answer this question who sent a dick pic? What did you think was going to happen?
Because she was going to hit him up and she was going to send him a message and say, yeah, let's go out. Let's go on that.
But it doesn't happen. Every woman I know, it doesn't happen. So why?
China White says it's true. She catalogs them and keeps them, and she says that
we keep them to laugh. we send them to our girlfriends and crack up, especially when they're ugly.
Oh, you send them, you share them though. You keep them. Yeah, you keep them and share them with your girlfriend. You just said it.
In fact, I posted one on Facebook and got
What? I thought you said you deleted.
No, I don't respond. I said I don't respond.
So you took it and posted it?
I posted it because the guy got mad at me. He came to my page to troll, got mad at me, and then sent me a dick pic. So I posted it.
I don't know why he blocked me if he was mad at you. I don't understand that, but
yeah, like I don't understand it either. I really don't. Like this is one of those things I don't understand about men. I but yeah, we laugh. It's more of a ridicule thing, but we don't respond. In fact, it doesn't work, fellas. We get plenty of dick pics, but we don't want you still. If a woman is not talking to you, she probably is not interested in you.
All right, now I'm gonna say this, but it's not a fact. I think it's a theory, and it might be backed up by something Freud may have said. I believe that men do not do anything for females unless there is some form of sexual gratification. Now, when I say sexual gratification, I'm not just talking about sexual intercourse. I'm talking about the kiss, the hug, the squeeze, or something like that. So on a date, how much sexual gratification in your idea of dating, how much sexual gratification should a man be getting from a female if he takes out on a nice date? What do you think that he should kind of expect?
Look, sex is a personal thing. And if you are expecting sex every time you go out with a woman,
I didn't say sex. I said sexual gratification.
Sexual, look, sexual gratification, sexual contact, kissing, hugging, touching. If you are going on the date expecting that in return, you probably won't get it. But if you go on a date and you connect and you all have something in common and you guys like each other, sexual contact, kissing happens naturally. It's a natural thing. So,
China White says when a woman knows that a man has a big penis, her eyes get big and wide. I don't know who this guy is in the back, but I want to see this guy sooner or later.
He's on look, go follow me on Instagram. He's on High Fly.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can give us your Instagram later because I'm sure some of the people here want to talk.
Yeah, y'all can go follow me.
They're gonna fill your Instagram with dick photos. I hope not. But I don't. No, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna.
No, they probably will. It's okay.
Yeah, they probably will.
I'm just gonna, laugh at with my girlfriends and just ignore them.
Now, you don't? Oh, I guess okay. Your girlfriends, are they married or are they single?
I have a lot of married girlfriends. I have
a lot of married girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good because see, most of the girlfriend groups and cliques that I know, they're pretty much hitting 40. They're single, unmarried, and childless. Now that's the other one. The other one's single mom. No, they're not having a good time. Believe me. In fact, let me be perfectly honest. Most of the females that I know, especially the ones that grew up with me and went through school, they're hitting 40. Like I'm 39. Some of them were already older than me. My ex-girlfriend, and she was black, by the way. I helped her get a job. She could have been making $90,000 a year during the goddamn pandemic, but she decided that she wanted to quit and she didn't listen to me. So we ended up breaking up because I was having issues with her. She didn't listen. So right now she's single, unmarried, childless, and she lives in her daddy's attic. You know how basically females, they don't put the females in the basement. They put the males in the basement. So if you're a male, you live in mommy's basement. But if you're a female, you live in daddy's attic. A lot of my female friends who grew up with me right now, they're hitting that 40 and they're single or they're single moms. But either they're single moms or they're single, childless, unmarried. And the thing about it is they catfish on their Instagram. Like they take angled photos where you can't see like their body and you can't see how big they are. And the guys don't talk to them. And when the guys do meet up with them, all of a sudden the guy's like, yeah, this date is over. And, they just go about their business. So most of the female groups and cliques that I know, they're not having a good time at all. In fact, it's a good thing you're here because I think they need your book.
They do need my book. I need those women to improve their lives and read my book. I got a lot of information in there.
Is this the only book you have?
That's the only one I have out so far. I'm still working on my next one.
Now, I wanted to I had thought about writing a book. When you wrote this book, how did you do it? Did you sit down and put pen to paper and just write, or did somebody help you write it? Like you talked through it?
It took me 3 years to write this book.
3 years? How many pages is this?
It's not that many pages. That's how
many pages?
To write a book. It's like 180, something like that.
180 pages in 3 years?
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
And what galvanized you to write this book?
So I was on Twitter, and I think at that time it was the big $200 date debate. You know, like a guy had to spend $200 or something crazy, something like that. And I was like, that's silly. And I just sent out a tweet that said I should write a book about dating. And a guy responded. He said, "Yeah, you should." And I was like, "Yeah, I will." And so I wrote an outline that night with the chapters that ended up being the chapters. And I was like, "Yeah, I can do this." And, you know, I just kept coming back to it, you know, over 3 years. And I finally knocked it out and got it done and published it. And here I am. And, you know, a lot of women really love it, especially the women that you're talking about. The chapter, ladies, that you're really going to like is the chapter on men. It really unlocks a lot of mysteries for you. So
you're not a member of any sororities, are you?
Nope, no sororities.
Because I have a sister. She happens to be a practicing lawyer. She's a criminal defense attorney. And in my family, they are mostly members of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, right? Mm-hmm. Now, they keep trying to invite me to these things, and they keep trying to get me to meet women there, but I'm never interested in it, right? I'm not interested in them. So the thing about it is, it's like, my thing is, it's like, I have issues with the current culture. Like, for instance, we can see, just looking at your face, you have like no nose rings, right? We can see that. I hate nose rings. I think they look disgusting, but a lot of women continue to put this stuff in their face and think that men are going to want them. I don't understand why they do that. Now, here's a question. This is a personal one. Your hair looks great. Is that all yours?
Yes.
That is fantastic. My sister's got a full head of hair too. We love natural hair. Do you have any tattoos?
No.
Why can't more black women do it like you? Natural hair. Hold on 1 second. Natural hair, no tattoos, none of these goddamn nose rings where they look like a fucking bull. It's disgusting. Why can't you? Could you make a book about that?
Because everyone has different preferences.
Yeah,
just
but
because you don't like women with tattoos or weaves or nose rings doesn't mean.
But most guys don't.
Men who like it.
But most guys don't.
That comes back to the compatibility thing. You're not compatible with somebody that has tattoos, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
You need to date people that you're compatible with. That's all it is.
China White says because black women are insecure.
She's
a black woman. Her picture may make her look like Serena Williams after the skin lightening, but she's actually a black woman. What do you say to her?
I'm sorry, I missed who are you referring to?
Do you see the super chat photo? China White right here. Do you see her? Her picture's there.
Right. Well, let's talk about the whole black women are insecure. So black women deal with racism and sexism. And the racism is telling black women that their skin, their hair, their lips, their features are ugly. Even though other women who are not black can have the same hair, same lips, same features, and go get tanned, and they're thought of as beautiful. So there's this constant fight for black women to love themselves as they are. However, just because a black woman chooses to wear her hair a certain way or to get a nose ring, that doesn't make her ugly or undesirable. Somebody will like her as she is. So for all the men that don't like women with weaves, don't date women with weaves.
What happens when the majority of the women I'm surrounded by got goddamn weaves?
Natural movement is huge. I'm around women with natural hair all the time. So clearly, I talk about this also in my book. There are circles. We have social circles. We live in social circles. That's normal for humans. We all have a group that we normally socialize with. If you're in a social circle and the women in that circle are not the women you want to be around, change your social circle. Go somewhere else. Meet different people. go and find the place where you feel more accepted, the place where you feel more normal. But don't keep saying that they need to do things the way you want them because you don't like it. That's just ridiculous.
And by the way, let me give you props on something, because it appears from this side that you're not wearing any makeup.
No,
so, right? You're not, right?
I have some lip gloss on.
Okay, just a little lip gloss. That's not that big a deal. Now, here's the thing, though. One of the reasons why a lot of men would prefer to go to these poorer countries is because the woman that they're getting, they can see is 100% real, simply because she can't afford to buy a $400 wig. She can't afford makeup. She can't afford 10 pounds of makeup. She can't afford nose rings. So the men want these women because, number one, they're all natural. Whatever they see, whether they got big breasts, small breasts, whatever, they're all natural. They don't have any implants because they can't afford them. Number two, their hair is obviously real. That's why a lot of black men are hitting Dominican Republic. Like, my aunt has a full head of hair. Full head of hair. She's got more hair than you. It's perfect. It's natural. Hold on. So a lot of men would prefer, well, one second. A lot of men would prefer a poorer chick because she can't afford the fake lifestyle. So it's not just that they're having dating issues. It's that they don't like what they're being presented with. They don't want women, like, if more, I'll say it like this. If more women went straight natural, if they drop the makeup, they drop all the fake stuff, I think more women here would have better relationships dating men, because the problem is women are masters of the visual lie. Women have heels on, they're not tall. Women have push-up bras, the breasts ain't that big. They got freaking horse hair, and it's not their real hair. I think if women went natural, I think that would solve a lot of problems.
Okay, there's a lot of objectification of women in everything that you said. I do want to point out the Renaissance chick said that she works with 8 other black women and they're all natural. So clearly, there's plenty of natural women in this country all over the place. I'm not the only one. But as far as, telling women how to be, that's, you can't tell women how to dress or wear their hair. They do what they want to do to make themselves feel good. And if you're not attracted to that, don't date them. This is very simple. You don't have to go on their page and tell them they would look better without a weave. You can just leave them alone because somebody's attracted to that. I know plenty of men that are out there who will be happy with a weave. They don't even care. Some men don't care. Some men think it's fun to have wigs. They get a different woman's look every day. I don't know. That's compatibility. If you don't like it, if you're not attracted to it, leave it alone. Go where you like to the women. Go where you like seeing how they are naturally. This is not a hard problem to overcome. Just don't date them.
No, but here's the problem though. What happens when that becomes so common that now you see it is common? The numbers of women. Well, let me phrase it like this.
You can type in natural hair on Instagram right now, and you will get thousands.
No. Wait. I'm not talking about the hair right now. I'm not talking about the hair thing right now. I'm talking about the culture in general. Women are ending up waiting longer and longer and longer to be in a serious married relationship. They're waiting longer to purchase their first house. They're waiting longer to have their first children. But that's not by coincidence. The majority of the women who are getting all of these things in their 20s and they're getting married, they're staying married, they're getting a house, they have a husband, they got their kids, the relationship is going okay. What I'm saying is that because of this culture that women are pushing themselves into and perpetuating, all it's doing is backfiring and breaking women. You said that you think that these feminists, you said it yourself. You said that these feminists are pushing something that women themselves don't like. And meanwhile, you said this. You said the feminists were falling back and they're with somebody. So why I'm saying, what are women doing perpetuating a culture that's destroying them?
No, I didn't say that. And they're not perpetuating a culture that's destroying them. I said people have choices, not just women. People are choosing, like a lot of women now, because they can, are choosing to go to college, have their careers, buy a house, do all the things that they want to do to, you know, in their lives before they get married, if they want to get married. And that's okay. I think the problem that me and you are having in this conversation is you have this ultimate belief that everybody wants to get married. And I don't. Not everybody wants to get married. And because right now, society doesn't need women.
So you don't want to get married?
Huh?
You don't want to get married? Some
women don't want to get married.
No. You said, I believe it, but you said you don't. So when you say you don't, that means you don't want to get married.
No, I said you believe everybody wants to get married, and I don't believe that everybody wants to get married.
Okay.
I believe that there are people who are now choosing, especially a lot of women, because they don't have to. They don't have, you know, we have a whole different society where people were dependent, especially women were dependent on men to survive. So they had to get married so that they could, because they couldn't own property. They couldn't have a checking account. They had to have a man to survive. Now we don't. Women don't have to have that. So they're making choices for themselves. So the fact that people are people, and I said people because it's not just women who don't want to get married. There's a lot of men in your comments who don't want to get married. It's okay for those people not to want to get married. And we need to accept that there are people who are never going to get married because they don't want to. And that's okay. I don't know why that's such a hard thing for folks.
No. What I'm saying is that most of the men who are, because you got to understand, especially with the guy who lampooned your video, there's a growing movement of men basically against marriage. They call them MGTOW, MGTOW, men going their own way. And then there's red pill men who are saying, these men are specifically against getting married because as far as they're concerned, there's nothing in it for the man. And as far as they're concerned, they have way more to risk being forced through the court system. So in the back of their mind, they are so worried about losing half their shit through a divorce and losing custody of their kids that they say, okay, forget it. We're not dealing with these women. Here's the problem, though. The women continue to keep pushing them to have these relationships. So the problem is these women we're talking about going on these dates, they keep pushing these men because women are ultimately trying to get these relationships. Now, Kevin Samuels' show, Kevin Samuels calls on women who come to his show talking about how they want to get married. Specifically, they want to be married to a high-value man. So he is slightly divergent from that red pill and that MGTOW growing movement in that respect. So what I'm trying to say ultimately, you're saying that, okay, you feel that most of these women don't want to get married. What I'm saying is that I'm seeing a number of them who really do want to get married. And I'm seeing a growing number of men who are pulling away from them. And as the men pull away, you got to understand, women age like cheese and men age like wine. I am, 39 years old? I can go snatch up young 20-year, 21, whatever's legal, but women can't themselves easily do that.
You don't, I guess you don't know the story of Mrs. Robinson.
Oprah ain't got no husband.
Oprah doesn't want a husband.
Okay.
If Oprah wanted a husband, she would have a husband. But let's go back. All right. Look, you just said these men who are going their own way don't want to get married, and then you said the women are making them want to.
The women are pushing them. Okay, so you know what there is? There's a movement.
Wait, I didn't interrupt you.
No, I know. I'm gonna let you talk, but I just wanted to say there's a movement within that the MGTOW and the red pill called pump and dump. So the guys are specifically allowing the women to put them into relationships, but dumping them, refusing to get married. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I wanted to.
Okay, so that's a little psycho, but okay, those men don't want to get married. It's okay if they don't want to get married. Like, we have to accept that there are people who don't want to get married. And I didn't say most women don't want to get married. I said there are women who don't want to get married. There is a growing number of women who don't want to get married. But if these guys don't want to get married and then they're saying women are wanting to marry them, look, if you don't want to get married, just say it up front. Just be honest. I don't want to get married. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you might meet a woman who doesn't want to get married either. And that works. It's always helpful to be honest up front. And I tell women that in my book. Like, you have to tell people who you are. If you're a guy who doesn't want to get married, and I tell women in my book, if a guy says he doesn't want to get married, believe him and move on. If you want marriage and they don't, move on with your life. It's okay for people not to want to get married. But for these guys who are like the guy who took my video, if he, it's weird to me that they are spending so much time telling women that they don't want women and they don't want to get married and dumping on women when they can just go live your life. Like, we don't care. Me personally, I don't care that there are men who don't want to get married. And I'm not the only woman that feels that way. Like, you're not hurting my feelings because you don't want to get married. That's a choice. It's perfectly okay to not want to get married. It's a very simple thing. Just go live your life.
Well, guys like Replicant Fit. See, here's the thing. Ever since the pandemic started, the MGTOW and Red Pill have been around for a while, but during the pandemic, it really started to grow in popularity because people's viewing habits have actually been changed by YouTube a lot. A lot of people aren't really watching television shows and all this pre-recorded nonsense. They're actually watching shows just like for instance, me and you. We've got 138 people in here. They've been on here for an hour and 54 minutes. So obviously, we're actually altering people's viewing habits. Your channel, up until now, I think you've had fewer than 200 subscribers, right?
No,
Kevin Samuels is almost to 1 million subscribers.
Right.
Most of his subscribers are women at this point.
Yes.
So the thing about it is, there are some women who hate his guts, but they still listen. There are some women who come to his show and his channel, and they are getting married and meeting high-value men because he runs like some dating thing on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So just like you're giving this advice, like dating like a woman, he's giving advice to women about how to be in order to make men attracted to them. Because basically the problem is when women go their own way for too long, they end up against that biological clock. And as we know, that biological clock is undefeated. It doesn't lose. So all I'm saying is that this growing movement of men pulling away, not wanting to be married, or you're seeing a lot of cohabitation where the woman is getting a relationship with a guy who has no intentions of marrying her and probably won't marry her for whatever reason. And the thing about it is, I think, especially in terms of the Black community, that is really, really, really unhealthy, because what it does is it causes more illegitimate children, more single mother households. And when you have children growing up and they don't see how a man and a woman are supposed to be treating each other, it brings up bad girls and it brings up bad boys. That's why you see so many of these boys out there fighting and shooting each other. And that's why you see so many of these girls out there being promiscuous. Now, I guess you disagree with that, so I'll let you talk about that.
Disagree
okay.
With that.
So you think that the single family household's okay?
So first of all, even though there are a lot, they're not even going to say a lot, there are Black single family households. The studies show that Black men are more actively involved with their children than any other race of men. So the fact that somebody's not married and in the same house does not mean that the child doesn't have two loving parents who are in their lives. So let's start there.
Somebody says here that you don't care about the wellness of the family.
That family doesn't mean married parents and a child. Family means child with people who love them and care about them and are in their lives. So to say that a child born to a single mother is doomed, which is not true. Studies show it's not true. Plenty of successful people who were born to single parent households grew up to be just fine and successful. Happens all the time. Just because a child is born into a single mom does not mean they're just never going to amount to anything and they're going to be criminals. It's just really silly. As long as a child has people who love them and parents who are active in their life, and parents cannot just be mom and dad. Parents can be mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandmom, granddad. As long as a child has a family who cares about them and is taken care of, the child's going to be okay. So let's get rid of this narrative.
Did you grow up in a family with both your mother and your father?
I grew up with both my mother and my father. My parents were divorced. My dad passed away many years ago. But
and you don't think this has affected you in any way?
I don't. Look, relationships definitely are affected by your interaction with your parents. However, children are not doomed, and women are not doomed because they had a child without a husband. the whole women being shamed for having a child or having sex or being promiscuous. We never talk about men having children out of wedlock or men being promiscuous. It's all this shaming. Again, we're back to the patriarchy where women are shamed for being sexually active and men aren't. And women are shamed for having a baby that they didn't make by themselves. It's silly that we're even having these conversations still in 2021. We've seen the statistics. We know that children grow up in families with one parent or two parents or three parents or whatever. As long as the child is loved and taken care of and not abused, they're going to be all right.
Someone says that you believe families should be communal instead of nuclear. That's 411 Talk Zone.
I mean, communal is what we've always had. African village raising the child.
We're not in Africa, though.
But I mean, that's who we are. We raise children together. That's what children need. Children need a community. That's important. So the whole thing is the whole shaming of women because they're not married is silly. Like at some point, you guys gotta realize that no matter how much you hate women that are single and not marrying and having kids, it's not going to stop it from happening. And if you don't want to do that, don't do that. It's about choice. Again, we come back to if you don't like something, you don't have to do it. But don't shame somebody else's choices. Let people live and do what they need to do for themselves. Stop judging other people for choosing to live their lives. Like, I don't believe a lot of the stuff you believe. I don't feel obligated to, change my life because you don't like how I choose to live it. It's, it's personal. You live how you want to live. I'm going to live how I want to live, and, we'll be okay.
Well, okay, let me say this. I'm not questioning your beliefs or your personal, I'm not questioning your personal operation. What I'm saying is that especially these women who are on these panels and going on Kevin Samuel's panel and this, that, and other, what I'm saying is that they themselves want and claim that they want marriage, but they don't understand why it is that men don't want them. And then when somebody like Kevin Samuels tells them all the things that they're doing wrong, he calls it sign language. He says shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right that they throw back at him when he's telling them up front. Now, see, here's the thing. It's just like I asked you a little while ago. I said men don't want tattoos in general. Men don't want nose rings. Men want real hair. Men prefer women as natural as possible because then they can see and understand what they're getting. Now, I understand what you're saying. It's like, yeah, well, some women don't want to be like them and this, that, and other. But what I'm saying is those women are calling him up and asking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get a guy? Why aren't the guys that I'm interested? And he's telling them up front. The guys don't want you with the fake shoestrings in your hair. They don't want you with all that makeup that's fake. They don't want you with the fake boobies. They don't want you taking dick pics on Instagram. So he's telling them what they're doing wrong, and they refuse to accept it. Now, the last thing I'll ask you, because I'm about to open it up so that some people can actually voice, so they can talk to you. But here's the thing: how do you respond to Kevin Samuel's? He has a saying that women control access to sex and men control access to marriage. How do you respond to that?
Well, I will say that men chase and women choose. That's and so when it comes to sex, I think sex is usually a mutual decision. I mean, that's something that you all decide together. So I can't say that women control sex because it takes two people to have sex, So that's one thing. And then what's the other one he said? Men control marriage.
No. Women control access to sex. Men control access to marriage. Go.
I can't take that seriously. I mean, I can't because, I've actually turned down marriage proposals. So maybe I have control.
You've turned down marriage proposals?
Right. So
why did you turn them down? I'm interested.
Because I didn't want to marry them.
So what was wrong with them? Were they too short?
It wasn't compatible. It wasn't something I wanted to do. So I mean, I can't say
hold on. You were dating the person and they proposed to you?
Yes.
How long ago was this? Like when you were 20?
I'm not going to get into it. What I'm saying is I can't say that men control marriage because there are women who have turned down marriage proposals. So if that were true, then women wouldn't turn down marriage proposals. In fact, the fact that most men propose to women would kind of make it so that women control marriage because they get the option of saying yes or no.
No, wait. Somebody just said in the chat that you're overlooking or don't understand the word access. I said women control the access to the sex. The men control the access to marriage. If a man does not get that ring and say, "Listen, please marry me," and get down on his knees, then it ain't happening.
But some people decide to get married before there's a proposal. There's also that.
But the bottom line is the man can't be forced to give that marriage.
Neither can the woman.
Well, the woman is more likely to want it, though.
I don't know if that's true. I can't say that that's true. There's a lot of men who want to get married. There are a lot of men who want to get married. They want to get married. They want a wife. They want to have kids. They want to have family. I'm not going to sit here and say mostly women want to get married because it's not true. There's a lot of men who want to get married.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe you should write a book about women who want to get married or something. I don't know.
I mean, the women, like I said, those women that go to Kevin Samuels, usually not feminists, usually believe a lot of the stuff that you're saying tonight. And I don't understand it because they're in the space with the guys who believe the same thing. And yet somehow you guys are not getting together. And it's baffling to me.
All right, so we're at 2 hours. I'm going to open up the floor now. I demand that anybody who does talk to our guest, this is a guest, is as how should I say, respectful, and make sure you keep your language respectful. I will mute you. I will take you off if it's disrespectful. I do not want the disrespect at all. So I'm going to put the chat link here because I know Fantastic is probably sweating right now trying to get up here. And just make sure I'm putting the link in the chat. So you can maybe take a couple of questions. Is the guy back there who's still off camera, is he still there? What's he doing?
They're still listening. My family's still listening.
How many people are back there?
Well, I have family. We're listening. I have support in my home. Black families. Whole happy Black family thing.
Oh, okay. Are these people over the age of 18? So that like what we're talking about, like, because
yes,
if I had known that you had so many family members, I would have, I wouldn't have said dick pics as many times as I said it. But because the problem is you didn't tell me, and I don't know.
Well,
so
I think my mother rather enjoyed that part of the conversation.
Is your mom on social media?
No.
So she doesn't have this problem with these dick pics, right?
No, thank God.
Okay,
She'd probably be sitting there laughing like, look what this fool sent me. I don't know. Are men over the age of 65 sending dick pics too? Is that? Because
I would almost like to know what your mom thinks about some of the things I've said. Like, for instance, most older women I know who've been married for a very long time and have had stable marriages, they themselves say that a woman's main job as a wife is to keep her husband's stomach full and his balls empty.
You hear her laughing, right?
No, I don't hear. I hear the guy though.
She's cracking up. I mean, I don't know how y'all come up with this, but it's really funny. I mean,
I'll tell you this: the women that I've dated, they know how to cook. And let me tell you something: they give you so much sex until you don't have the energy left over to even think about another woman. You don't have the energy to think about cheating because I've been sexed so much to the point where I can't even get it up because I'm tired, just tired. I can't perform.
Look.
All right, I'm gonna let Mr. Fantastic up. I'm gonna let Mr. Fantastic up. He had a couple of things to say about what was it? I think he had a couple of things to say about marriage and court and whatnot. And I'm gonna let him talk a little because I've talked for 2 hours straight. So here we go. That's Mr. Fantastic right there. He has a channel too. I don't know. Maybe if he needs any legal advice or something, I don't know. Maybe you could point him to a couple of books.
I'm definitely good. I'm definitely good, man. Hey, shout out to the guest. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm well. How are you?
All right, good. You're in California, right?
Yes.
I'm just curious. Do you partake of the herbals at all?
You know, it's California. You know how it is out here.
I'm just saying your eyelid's kind of heavy. That's what I'm saying. Like you
well, I'm looking
really
down.
good.
I'm looking down. I've been looking at truck the whole time. Instead
oh, okay. Maybe I'm about to say we know you got that good out there. But yeah. So I just heard a couple of things, and it's like you are the master of the exception to the rule. Have you ever been told that before?
I went to law school.
So the exception to the rule is a very good, I guess, strategy to use for people that's not aware of it. But like you said a lot of things earlier on, but you didn't support it with any type of data or research or numbers. And a lot of the things that Big Chuck said, we have the data, the research, and the numbers to support what he said. You said things about and especially the economy stuff. So I don't know how versed you are in economy, but everything you said for the economy thing was extremely, like, I guess, political based or ideology based and not actual factual based with, proven economics. You do, like, there is no point at where the cost goes up for the business and then the consumer doesn't eat that cost. That never happens, ever. Okay. Can you give us an example of where I
gave an example. I told you the Walmart in DC had to pay the minimum wage in Washington DC. It was raised. I forget what year. Well, do you remember?
Okay.
And I already told. I gave an example.
Yeah, but what you didn't do was you didn't say anything about the cost of living, which I promise you, I guarantee you, the cost of living went up at the same time as that minimum wage increase went up, along with other goods and other things in that area. Again, this has been proven time and time again over, like, the nation, not just the nation, the world. Anytime the business accrues a new tax or any type of new expense, that is passed off to the consumer. Because you're a little older than me, so I'm pretty sure you remember when before there was a dollar menu, you could get like a Big Mac for like $2. Well, if you go back and you see that and you trace it, the Big Mac is now like $4 or $5. Why? Because the minimum wage increased and the business had to pay the workers more things.
The minimum wage increase. It was the cost of the raw goods increase. Yeah. That's why the cost of the Big Mac went up.
And again, the raw goods all of that is correlated to the minimum wage. That's what you're missing. Yes, it is. You make more money.
You need to disagree. It's not.
Okay, well, okay, all right. Well, like I said, I just like for you to give some type of research or whatever data to support it. Okay. Secondly, the thing you said about the child support thing or the child custody thing, you kind of flipped my thing. I lost first before I won. So yeah, a lot of men are not getting a fair deal. There's not a fair shake. Most women are granted automatic custody of children. You know why? Especially in being a lawyer, you know this. Especially in unwed situations or two people just having kids because a father does not wed. He doesn't have any.
And you have to establish paternity.
Thank you.
If you didn't have paternity established before she went to court, that means that the court did not know that child was your child.
Well, no. You're being disingenuous.
Paternity first. So
hold on, you're being disingenuous because another thing you're leaving out is what? Even though child support and child custody are directly proportionate, because your child support is determined by the amount of time you have with the child, the child custody or family law and child support are two totally separate things. So while the state will take a signed birth certificate as proof of fatherhood or paternity of the child, and then begins that child support, they will deny that same signed birth certificate as proof of paternity to paternal rights. All right. So,
wait, listen. So even if you sign the birth certificate, that doesn't establish paternity. Just because you sign the birth certificate.
Oh, yes, it does. No.
Let me say it again, fellas. Just because you signed a birth certificate does not mean you have established paternity in the eyes of the court. There is another step. to establishing paternity. Either you have to have a DNA test, or the mother has to sign off a document, a legal court document that says you're the father of the child. So that has to happen first before you even go to court to even fight for custody.
But that's custody, though.
The child is yours.
Yeah, no, but again, like I said, that's only for custody. The state will take that.
Child support
all right.
It's a separate thing. I agree, it's a separate thing.
But it's separate, but it's directly proportionate. Again, it's directly proportionate to
the amount of time you spend with your child. If you're not spending time with your child, if your child does not see you, you're going to pay more because you are not actively involved in your child's life. Now, if your child comes to see you 1 week on, 1 week off, or every weekend or every other week, that changes how much you have to pay in child support because you are actively involved in your child's life. Just because the court is not being unfair to you. You got to put your case out there. You got to be actively involved in your child's life. You can't go to court and say, I never see my kid, but I don't want to pay child support.
But again, like I say, you're leaving out another big thing, because what happened for me was I had been a part of my children's life for their entire life up until the age of 5, when their mom decided to put me on child support because I got married. And even though I had done that, because I had never established paternity, because I was ignorant to the fact that you had to do that. And again, the state took the paternity, the signed birth certificate is proof enough for me to have to pay child support. But like I said, when it came to me having custody of my child, I had no rights and I had no custody because I had not established it, even though I had been in their lives. And
I get what you're saying. Two different things. Yes.
Okay. So this is the thing, though.
Did you establish paternity?
Yes, I did. After the fact, though. That's what I'm saying.
You have a custody agreement where your children spend time with you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I won in the thing.
Ultimately, when you became a participant in the court system, it worked out for you.
Yeah, the second time, like I said, because I had to learn.
All I'm saying is, fellas, get active in the court system. That's all. Don't automatically say that the court system is against you. It's not. There are rules. Like the paternity rule. It's messed up. I think it's messed up that they will accept
that's what I'm saying. You can't. But you see what I'm saying.
You gotta establish paternity. You gotta go through.
Yeah, but you're contradicting yourself when you say it's fair and it's not that big of a deal, because again, like I said, that it's just something that men have to go through that women don't. Women are automatically granted parental rights because they're the mother.
Because they birthed the child.
Okay, what is that though?
But establish paternity unless there's a DNA test or the mother agrees that you're the father of the child.
Yeah, but listen, that's still a bias. That's a biological bias.
Gosh, it's a biological bias.
It is.
You got involved in the court system and you got it worked out. And like I said, it's a long process. It's hard. You probably need help. You know, I'm glad that you went and looked up stuff in the law library and got it together. But guys got to get active. The whole, it's against me is not true. You just got to be proactive in the system.
Okay, so and my last question, and I'll get up out of here. So what exactly is the perspective of your book? Is it a feminist point? Is it just a woman's experience point? What is date like a woman? What perspective is that for you? Because a lot of your talking points or a lot of your leanings seem to be very liberal and very feminist.
Well, I am very liberal and I am a feminist. So my book is written from my perspective. So yes, there's going to be things in there that some people would find very liberal and very feminist. And one more thing before I go. So you really think you don't need to be protected by a man? Seriously? I mean, there's a whole group of women in India who take out revenge on men that beat their wives. So
I just saw that. You know what happened though? Did you see that the latest video where that man was molly-whopping like 4 of them? It was like 8 of them, and he was open hand slapping and handling 4 out of those 8 women. So they finally got him down. And again, it takes a mob of women. How many men do you think it would take to go around and do the same thing to a group of women?
Get him down.
Yeah, but that was after 4 of them got knocked down.
clearly, if we got to band together, we can band together. That's all that matters. Like we don't need men.
Oh, so you're admitting? So you're admitting it takes 8 women to equal 1 man. Thank you. I'm glad you admitted that. Thank you.
However you take it.
Hey, that was a great. Thank you for taking my questions. Keep smoking that sticky icky, and have a nice day.
You too.
Well, here's a question: do you smoke weed?
No.
I've never smoked weed either, but I know it's legal, for recreational and medicinal purposes.
I mean,
hey guys, China White, China White. You got the link. Why don't you step up, China? We would love to have you. Because China was she was saying a whole lot in the chat. China, you could join in. I'll put you right on. I put the link out there. Yeah, but see, my only thing is, it's like me personally. I think the dating scene here is getting worse and worse and worse. And even though I've abstained from it, I just think it's really poisonous at this point. And I don't think it's going well, and I don't think it's going to go any better. I really think the next generation below me has got a lot of problems, and I think Generation Alpha is going to be just as bad.
Okay.
and most of that is due to the fact that their parents ain't together.
Okay. I mean, we have different perspectives on things, so I'm not going to change your mind, and I'm not going to attempt to.
All right, that is fair enough. But so I guess to go back a little bit just to your book, in your book, do you specifically talk about like individual dates, kind of like case studies, or do you just in general just talk?
I generally talk about dating, but I did do a bit of studying as I was writing my book. I decided to just go on a lot of dates to see if, my theories were correct before I put them in the book, and I did. So there is some kind of study that went into the book, but it's from my personal experience.
Spiritual logic. Oh, China White's here. Spiritual Logical Hulk says women want to pull men into the system because it benefits them. Take away all the perks, rewards, and unaccountability to make it truly equal. And today's women wouldn't push for marriage or the system. So I'm letting in China White. She has her own channel, and she's joining me for the first time. So China is definitely a woman. And go ahead, China. What you got to say?
How are you doing? How's everybody?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hi. It was a couple of things I disagree with. I'm gonna make it short because I'm actually cooking something.
What are you cooking?
I'm making something for I like to prepare meals the day before.
When I asked what are you cooking, I actually meant what is the name of what you're cooking?
I know stir fry vegetables,
okay.
grilled chicken, and some fruit snacks. Like I make processed fruit snacks for my girls, fresh. I don't buy them at the store.
Okay.
So one of the things I disagree with was when you said that a lot of women don't want to be married. That's not true. Women want to be married. Women just don't want to be wives because they know that takes work. So a lot of women do want the ring. They do want the man. They want a man to claim them. So when you say that, that's not true because women want a man. Women want a provider. Women just don't want to be wives, and they know that takes work. So I don't agree with that. And when you say there's nothing wrong with women not being married, what you're saying to me as a woman that's speaking to women groups, you are okay with your child to be a criminal. You are okay with your child not having a masculine energy in the home. So I find that that's crazy when you say there's nothing wrong with a woman not wanting to be married. I just find that crazy because if it's okay for a woman to open her legs to produce a child, but it's okay for her not to be married, that makes no sense to me. If it's the other way around, you should say women don't want to have sex. That's bigger than marriage, because a woman is opening her legs to a man and she can actually bring another child into this world. She can bring a child into this world. So it's okay for her to open her legs. I'm just saying, It makes no
I
sense.
think what China's saying is it's unfair to the child to bring them into a broken home.
Again, I point out the statistic that Black men are most active in their children's life against all other races, and that includes unmarried Black men. Just because you have a child with someone doesn't mean that the father and the mother are not active in their child. I mean, we just talked to the guy that was just on. He's actively involved in his child's life.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that statistic. Just talking about the man being active in the kid's life does not equate to that man being a father in the household with that child. It's not the same. It's not the same. And I heard him at one point. He was talking about that he had to basically let his kids understand that when they see daddy, that he's not just there to just buy them stuff. He's there to be their father. And what happens with a lot of kids who are in divorced relationships, they end up basically just calling on the father to get them the things they need and want. And that's obviously bad for the father, because basically that makes him feel as if he's unneeded or unwanted. But then on top of that, without having that father in the household, those kids are not in any way receiving the full parenting experience in any way. So a woman just saying, yeah, well, I can do what I want and have my body the way I want it, and I can birth these kids, and I can choose to have this man's kids or whatever. Like, for instance, right now, there are a lot of women who they even have a title for them. They call them reproductive abusers. And there are women, especially lesbian women, who are sleeping with men who get pregnant, and then they go on about their way. Or in some cases, some of them go back after the men for child support. Now, here's the thing. You're raising a kid in a household without both parents in this obviously dysfunctional household. That's not fair to the kid. At that point, it's no longer about the woman and her body and her rights. No, you're bringing up broken children.
Right.
So now I have a problem with that. It looks like people are agreeing with me.
You guys are making it seem like all married couples with children have perfect households and their children are not experiencing trauma within them.
I never said that.
The fact that we're even having this conversation where we're mom shaming single moms and saying that women are spreading their legs and trying to sexually shame women is, to me, it's like, okay, if you really believe that, then live your life according to that. I'm not going to change your mind. There's nothing I can say. You've decided that that's how you believe women need men. If you need a man, get you a man, girl.
And not just the woman, but the children. The children need those men.
And you believe that if you have children and you want to have them in a married home, do that. Make more choices.
Yes, China, go ahead.
And this is why I find a problem with some of your rhetoric, the things that you're saying, because what you're saying is, it sounds like to me, and a lot of Black women do this, a lot of Black women refuse to take accountability for their actions. Black women will go down your throat if you tell them you need a man, you need to listen, you need order, you need discipline, you and your children. But that Black women will turn against you. That is why you don't say it. So what you do tell women is, oh, you don't have to be married. And majority of women don't want to be married. Instead of telling women to take accountability for their action and actually understand you need a man in a home when you're raising a child. When a woman is not being led by a man, she is like, I'm not trying to like have that debate, but it's true. Majority of problems that comes from children is single mothers. When you are a single mother, when the father is not in the home, the child is more likely to be I'll say a transformer. The child is more likely to be a criminal. Oh, I don't believe that a woman can raise a child by herself. I don't agree with that, because women are emotional. Women don't listen. Women make their own choices, and men are more disciplined. And you know that, but you can't tell women that, because women will go down your throat.
And they won't buy that book.
So if you believe you need a man to lead you, do that. If you believe you have to have a husband for your children, have a husband. There's nothing I can do to change your mind. I don't believe the things that you believe. And to me, it's like, You want me to take accountability and listen to, you're trying to force what you believe on me. I'm not trying to force what I believe on you. I'm perfectly okay over here on my side of the line, living my life. I'm happy. I'm content. I have what I need.
And that's the problem. It's because a lot of women believe that I'm not forcing my lifestyle down your throat, but you're creating criminals. You're creating monsters. Yes, you're creating criminals and monsters. That is why you say that. And that is why a lot of people have that issue with women that think like you, because your children are in the world, are demons and killing everybody. That is your fault. And a lot of women think like you. That's why you don't have an issue with it, because you're raising bastards. You're raising bastards. And you will open your leg and get pregnant by a man, but don't want his leadership, don't want his guidance, you want a man to provide for you. That is something that a lot of women want. But for a fact, in order for that man to actually provide for you, you must listen. And a lot of women don't want to listen. You know that.
Can I ask the guest a question?
Go ahead.
Okay. How do you define logic?
How do you define logic?
I'm asking you the question.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and define it for you.
Okay, well, let me.
Logical, you can call me illogical.
I just asked you a question. Why would I call you that if I asked you the question? That's illogical.
I've been reading the comments in the chat.
Well, put it this way. Since you don't want to be honest, logic is defined by things that are functional and designed to work within a certain way to have a good outcome.
Okay.
And what people are telling you is that the outcome that we are seeing in real world, not just anecdotally, but reflected through stats and every lens that you can view life, says that women who are single mothers are destroying society. That does not.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Laugh.
Funny.
Okay, laugh. But let me finish. That doesn't vindicate the foolish, weak men that these women are choosing. That does not vindicate them of responsibility. But the issue is that the single women who are choosing these fools are empowered by the government, because the government removes. Hold on. See, they
look
laughing,
at him. He's just laughing everything she say. Look at him. You talking about him right there, bro.
Oh, look.
But look, man,
this
two women.
This is true women nature.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm gonna quit for it.
This is the rawest form of women nature, and this is what other women tell other women behind the scenes. A lot of guys need to pay attention, because when you tell women the truth, a lot of women will laugh. Like, she's disrespecting you while you're talking.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna quit for it. This is a learning experience. This is a learning experience for everybody. Hold on, let me talk, because I just got here. This is a learning experience for everybody to see that. I'm trying to expose the fact that they don't have a viable argument. All they do is laugh and get emotional about what they don't like to hear. And we're talking about the actual truth. But see,
they say you.
She doesn't listen. She doesn't believe in truth. She doesn't believe in anything, and she says that until life gets serious. And see, a lot of women like this usually at her age, when they get about a little bit older, and something happens in life, and they don't have what they thought they didn't need, then it becomes an issue. But let me just talk about some things that you said that are just flat out lies. You said that you were basically alluding to men and women being equal. First of all, legally they're not. Women can raise children in poverty and get rewarded by the government. Men can't do that, and neither should men want to do that, but they just can't.
Men can apply for welfare too, and they're on welfare.
I said raise children in poverty.
Men are raising children in poverty. There are men raising children.
What's the stat on that?
I mean, you want me to be a statistician and have all the stats in front of me.
You can't, but just to make a point, you can't. But I can. There's stats to support what I'm saying. There's nothing to support what you're saying. There's nothing. Then find it. While I'm talking.
There's a welfare state. There's a lot of memes and.
So you're saying the majority
colliding right now. We are two different worlds colliding. You live in worlds that I don't.
But you're not even letting me talk. The show is about you. No, I wasn't. When did I say I was finished?
I can interrupt you if I want to.
But you're not interrupting me. You're deflecting to something else.
I'm not
Yes,
deflecting. I'm responding.
and you have been laughing every
And
time
the
he
problem
speaks.
is
You
you
laugh
guys
over
do
him.
And
all
laughing
that.
is laughing is being rude. That's not
You guys
interrupting to make
are
a point.
ridiculous to me. What you believe
Yes.
is
Well,
ridiculous.
you're ridiculous to us, so it's
Okay,
fair.
then
So
you
you
need
like
to say
fairness,
it's
then deal
fair,
with it.
fair.
Then deal
We
with
don't
it.
believe
I'll
the
let
same
you.
things. We
But
don't
nobody
believe
was
the same
laughing at
things.
you, and nobody was cutting
You
you
guys
off.
have been making fun of me the whole time. I'm reading the comments. Y'all have been cracking up, laughing at me. And you think I can't respond in kind? I can
On the
laugh at you.
comment, is somebody is you reading the comment interrupting you talking?
Yeah, I read the comments. I listen to you, and if you're ridiculous to me, you're ridiculous. We don't have to agree.
So you're saying you reading the comment is the same as me over talking you. That's what you're saying.
No, that's not what I said. But go ahead and think what you want to. Please finish your point. I'm gonna let you talk now.
And you can tell your person in the background, they can save some of the air. They breathing up all the air with all that sighing and moaning over there. Look,
Yeah,
keep your low T self to yourself. Keep your low T self to
Yeah,
we already know what you are, bro. Anyway, but the whole point about this, to keep it real, is that we're just trying to tell you that the outcome of the real world, not the world that we want to believe in the fantasy and imagination, shows that the government is why women have everything they have right now. It's not because women earned it through any merit or built anything. Everything that women have is because the government created a program about stupid, foolish men who made that, available to you. The question is, why did they do that? They did that because a lot of these women are going through the government, turning and depending on the government, turning their children over to the system, raising through Section 8, being raised through subsidized housing and all these things that allow the government to control the life of people. So it's not even about equality or feminism or whatever. It's about communism. It's about the government being in everybody's lives. And you may think that's a good thing, but it's not.
Okay.
Because without personal responsibility and accountability, we have the world we have now. High crime. If somebody came and attacked you right now and nobody cared, you would have a problem with it. So don't act like you don't want people to be responsible and accountable for what they do. You're just saying that because it hasn't happened to you yet.
Exactly.
Can I say one thing and I'm gonna get off?
Go ahead, China. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is a great stream.
Thank you.
I talk with a lot of women, like the woman on the panel. A lot of women, think like her. And a lot of women don't say it out front, and a lot of women talk the same rhetoric she speak, and they teach younger women the same thing they lean on. They teach it to younger women, and they spread that rhetoric to younger women. I just want people to pay attention. One more thing I want to say. When a woman is being questioned, okay, she seems like you write a book, right? You write books and you do podcasts. When you're being questioned on a panel, when you put up that defense guard, it means that you're not open for the conversation. So that means if the live stream is only going one way in your favor, you will have that conversation. But the moment anybody question you on the things you stand on and you become defensive, that says a lot about the person. And everybody that joins the panel know that the chat don't agree with you. There's a lot of people that don't agree with me, but you can't read the chat. You're having a conversation on a panel, and it's a lot of people that don't agree with you. And you're not open for the conversation because when Hawk, this guy never raised his voice. He doesn't scream. He doesn't go back and forth. He was having a conversation with you, and all you can do is laugh and disrespect him. So, which tells me that you're not open for that discussion because inside you know that you're wrong. And one more thing, women can't go their own way. Women can't lead anything. You can barely lead yourself. That is why you are in the predicament you are in now. A lot of women look for beta male providers, emotional males, that when their woman is doing a live stream and having a conversation, having an interview, he's in the background, triggered and emotional. That tells me a lot about the men that you deal with. And a lot of women that you talk to deal with those same type of men, emotional, triggered men. And I can tell you, it sounds like that man was in a home with one parent. I can tell because men that are so triggered, easily triggered by a woman having an interview or a conversation, and you're going to interrupt and yell in the background and overtalk people, tells me a lot about the men that you deal with. And I appreciate you for having me on the panel. I love you guys, Hawk. I love you, fam.
Thanks,
Everybody,
China.
I gotta go.
Thanks,
Oh,
China.
we could end the show right there. Oh, she said.
I would love for you to meet the person that was in the background.
I'd love to meet him too. How about you get him next to you on
and where he came from and who his family is, and y'all can just beta mail all day. And
all you got to do is turn the camera around and face him.
Like, all the stuff she said is absolutely false, but okay, I'm the bad guy today. I don't mind. I don't mind. And I like, honestly, you're right. Like, for me, when I hear something that's so ridiculous to me, y'all can believe it. You believe whatever you want to believe. When I hear something that's ridiculous to me, it makes me laugh. Now, take that how you want. I'm going to laugh at you. If you say something crazy, I'm going to laugh. It's just the way it is. So
you laughing because you have.
No, she says she needs a man to lead her. I hope she has a man to lead her. If she can't find her way out of a paper bag without a man, look, good for her. Like, that's okay. But that's not my life. I don't live that way.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead. Who's that?
This is J.I.
Okay, J.I. Go ahead.
Respect to the lady. Simple question. Do you agree that men should have financial abortion? Why or why not?
What is financial abortion?
Yeah, what is financial abortion? Define.
So define that if a woman gets pregnant, she can have an abortion for whatever reason. So a man should be able to, if he gets a woman pregnant, financially abort all his responsibility. So it's basically like she just got a sperm donor, but he can't be put on child support or held responsible in any way. Do you believe men should have that right to make it fair?
All right, look. All right, folks. You have control over your body. If you do not want children, if you never want children, you can take steps to prevent yourself from having children.
That's not the question.
I have to start from from the real beginning. You have autonomy over your body.
It's not the real beginning because women, after they have sex, can have abortion. It's not a women close your leg.
Because it's her body.
Agreed. But it's there. Hold on. I already know. Hold on. Let me talk to her real quick.
If you don't want to have kids, there are steps you can take.
Hold on. It's her body, but it's their life. So nobody's taking away that it's her body.
Every time you have sex, you take a risk. If you haven't had a
no, the law says
you
that.
Don't wear a condom or the condom breaks. Every time
the law says
you
that.
take the risk of having a baby. You have to accept that responsibility.
No. We have to accept what the law forces us to. The law says that if the law changed tomorrow and said that women couldn't have an abortion, you'd be put in jail for murder. If you did, then they would be put in jail for murder. This is a legal thing. That's why I asked you, do you think that the law should be changed?
Bodies, I believe women should have control over their bodies as well. So
it's not about control over body. It's about being able to decide after the fact.
If a guy doesn't take the steps to prevent pregnancy and she has
the woman didn't take those steps either. So you're saying no.
So you're
saying no.
No, there's no such thing as financial abortion. First of all, that's why I had to ask.
There was no such thing as abortion until we gave it a name as well. So that doesn't make any sense.
It's an actual medical procedure that a woman can choose to have.
And a financial abortion would be an actual legal thing once it comes into stop acting like just because something doesn't exist right now, it can exist, because it definitely can. So you're against it because you feel that a man should be punished for his decisions, but a woman should be given a way out because it's her body.
So a child is a punishment. You want women to have babies and not have abortion.
I want the choice to be equal on both sides.
Put on child support.
No, listen. I want the choice to be equal on both sides.
For the child too.
Listen, a woman can go out.
Is not enough to support a woman and child. Like
no. Listen, I want the choice to be equal.
Is not a lot of money.
I want the choice to be equal. You're lying. I want the choice to be equal.
Your body.
No, the choice after pregnancy.
She has
the choice after pregnancy.
Her choice.
The choice after pregnancy.
Her choice starts.
Wait. Okay, J.I. Hold on. Let her say her piece. Okay, well, let me hold on 1 second. Let me interject myself. I have an ex-girlfriend, right? Everything was going fine up and we were having a pretty good sex life and everything. But she basically did something that I said, you know what? This relationship can't go on anymore, and I was able to walk away. Now, fortunately, I had the foresight to keep her loaded up on birth control pills, right? So I didn't have to worry about her getting pregnant. But there was always that fear in my mind. Because, see, up until this thing that happened, I'm not even going to talk about it, but up until this thing with her, I was like hitting it like 3 times a day, sometimes just 2. Most of the time it was like 2. And the thing about it is, we could have ended up pregnant. And I was like, me personally, I'm the type, I believe in traditional like marriage and stuff. Like, I don't believe in birthing children until you're married, right? That's just me. So I like, and Kevin Samuels calls it marry before you carry. Now, here's the thing. If I wanted to break up with her and I broke up with her and then come find out all of a sudden she's pregnant because let's say she either like ignored the birth control or maybe I thought she was swallowing it and she probably spit it out or something in the dark or something like that. Here's the thing. She had the power to conceive, but I decided before that I didn't like all of a sudden something happened between us and I didn't want to be with her anymore, right? But she still had the power to abuse the reproductive right. So when J.I. is talking about should men be able to be financially abortive or whatever, basically he's saying, why should a man be on, like, let's say a man goes out with a woman and then finds out that there's something seriously wrong with her or that she's a serious problem or something and she was hiding it. Let's say that. Let's say she was hiding a problem with herself. Why should I end up being on the hook for the next 18 or 20 years, 18 years? Why should I be on the hook just because she had the power to bring a life into this world and create it in a broken home that I didn't agree to? By the way, Sister George, I'm going to drop the link. So just in case you want to come in, Sister George, I'm going to let you up. And I'm not going to, go ahead. Answer that question for me. Because it's basically the same question he's asking. Go ahead.
Look, again, men have the ability not to have children.
But she was, no, but here's the problem. She was lying to me about something about herself, and I didn't know. So if I brought that kid into the world and then said I want to leave, why should I be on the hook?
Look, again, if you don't want to have children, don't have sex or go get a vasectomy. But please stop blaming women for your own choices.
I blame the law for that. That's the law's fault.
And that's the reason why she's in her father's attic collecting dust while I'm dating a chick half my age. That I did what I needed to do.
Hold on. So do you agree that women should lose the right to abortion?
Wait.
Let's see if you're consistent. Do you believe that women should lose the right to abortion? Then it should be illegal, since you said if you have sex, expect a kid.
Women should have autonomy over their body. Women should have a right to abortion. Whether you want to have an abortion or not is a personal choice. I'm not going to tell women.
So women should have an out, but men shouldn't have an out.
It's their body. You can control your body. You right now, if you don't want kids,
if it's their body, then they should take everything that comes with it.
You can have a vasectomy and not have kids.
No. If it's her body, she should be treated like she got a sperm donor and raise it by herself because she chose to have it. The man wants nothing to do with it.
The way it's set up, women carry children, and
that's a legal. No. This is a legal issue, not a biological issue. What you just said, I agree with, but you want the man to be brought into a decision that he has no power over after pregnancy.
Take care of your kids. Is that the argument that men are really trying to make? That if I don't want kids and I have one, I shouldn't have to take care of them?
That's the argument I'm making. Legal equality.
It's a weird argument to me.
Legal equality.
You guys,
look at my situation. Look at my situation.
On one hand, you're upset because you say the court system doesn't treat you fairly, and then on the other hand, you're like, oh, I don't want to have a kid. So you're literally going to have a child who's biologically yours out in the world, and you don't want to be anything. You don't want to have anything to do with that child.
Women do it all the time. Women do it all the time.
Exactly. And women do it. They give it up for adoption. Women are praised for it. Oh, you were so strong to give away your kid. It's a double standard. Listen, a woman can go out and get a train run on her, then get pregnant, be like, I don't even know who this is, and get rid of it. No responsibility. A man can go and have a one-night stand, get her pregnant, and you're expected to step up. No, that's legally, the legal inequality is wrong.
It's not fair to you to have.
No, that's not fair. This is a legal issue.
Biological child out in the world, and you're like, I don't want anything to do with that person who's actually part you. I mean, if that's
she shouldn't have had it. Listen, that's between her and that kid. She chose to have it.
Look,
when women get an abortion, is that not part you?
That you really want to make, that you want to be able to go.
Yes,
and have
legal equality. Yes, yes, I'm arguing for that. Yes,
we just want you to speak on the hypocrisy. That's all.
Legal equality. Yes.
We're just providing the standard for hypocrisy.
After the fact. To decide after that's what abortion is. To be able to decide if you want to be a parent after pregnancy.
It's her body. You don't even know what you go through to bring a child.
I agree. That's a biological function. I'm not talking about a biological function. I'm talking about the legality of responsibility. I agree it's her body. That's why the man can't force her either way. I'm saying the man should be able to bow out. No, because if a man doesn't have a choice in it, it's not his child. It's her child. Because the man can't make her have it and the man can't make her get rid of it. So it's not his, it's hers.
If that's the argument
legally,
y'all want to make,
you should be able to bow out of responsibility. You don't want to
be financially connected or in the life of the person who's part you. If that's what you want to hang your hat on, go ahead. That sounds.
I am.
I mean, it's sad.
But let me ask this.
If that's what you really want, I think I read
that's what I really want. Yes.
But hold on, everybody. Let me ask. How do you respond to my issue, where I did as much due diligence as possible, but then come to find out that there was a serious issue with her that was impassable. And if she had maybe finagled the whatever, the birth control, whatever, there's a possibility I could have ended up with a child that I didn't want to be with the mother anymore. And I was just fortunate enough that I was able to get away without being locked in. Like that, it's almost as if, imagine this, it's almost as if there's a piece of meat in a cage, right? And you see that piece of meat, you're starving, you go into that cage and you go get that meat, right? And then all of a sudden the door slams shut behind you and there's a fucking alien from Alien 3 in that cage with you, and now you can't get out. So what do you say to my situation? Now I got lucky. Hold on. You know how they say life goes on? I got lucky. I was able to escape without bringing a child into this world that I would have had a serious issue dealing with the mother. So I can honestly say I did not create a broken household. So I give myself applause for that. But I'm a black man. One second. I did not bring any child into this world.
I can't imagine you having kids right now. It's this conversation.
No. Listen,
there's a lot of people in this conversation that I'm like, really? You just out there?
Don't you understand? But hold on. Don't you understand that the reason why I specifically don't have children right now is because I'm thinking about their well-being, and I'm like, listen, when I have children, I want to be married. I want to make sure that they are comfortable, that they've got everything that they need. A lot of men don't think that way. That I believe in marrying before you carry. What I didn't want was to end up trapped in a bad relationship and have a kid and then resent the wife.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Let's stop pretending like she's trying to make it moral, because she's trying to make it seem like, oh, you're so terrible for walking away from a child, but she doesn't care if a woman murders the child. So it's not about
murder. You guys, it's a fetus. It's not murder.
That's your belief.
Okay. It's a fetus. But what she doesn't want is legal equality.
No, that's your belief. Determining whether it's murder or a procedure is a belief.
Actually, it's not. It's science. It's not murder. And if you believe it's murder, I can't do it. There's no middle ground for us. I can't make you not believe it's not murder. And
abortion can be up to when the child is actually able to actually come out the woman. So it is murder.
That's again not true. And you believe it. If you believe it's murder, nothing I can say. I can't help you.
That's what I believe. It's what it is. It's just you can't handle what it is, and you don't have a problem with women leaving children out there. Women put their children up for adoption and do all kinds of things all the time, and you don't have no rebuttal for that.
I can't rebut something that's not sensical. It's nonsensical.
Women giving their children up, women just leaving their children in front of a fire station is nonsensical?
Look, there are very few women that abandon their children.
What? Okay.
Very few. So
we're not going to be honest here. So
but there are a lot of men who don't. Apparently, according to you guys, a lot of men who just want to abandon their children. And I don't know.
Look, no. I want men to be able to have the legal right, the same way that women do. A woman after pregnancy, this is not about being responsible. This is about being able to terminate responsibility after pregnancy has occurred. We agreed it's the woman's body. She should be able to decide. But a man deserves the same right.
You have the same right. Take yourself to a doctor. Get a vasectomy.
No, that's not. That's not getting. That's not after pregnancy. That's not after pregnancy.
1 second.
You can't, because once a woman is pregnant, it's her choice.
Hold on. Let me say this. Do you understand how difficult it is to reverse either women having their tubes tied or a man having a vasectomy? First of all, not only is it extremely difficult, but on top of that, it's extraordinarily expensive, especially if people don't have appropriate health care that can afford that. We don't want to have to worry about invasive surgeries that could damage the woman or damage the man.
Outpatient surgery, it happens in a day and they're reversible.
Yeah, but that's invasive.
It's not invasive.
It is,
and it's subjective to you because you're not a man, so you can't understand. You're not a man.
Have you ever had a vasectomy? It's invasive.
It's not invasive.
Yes, it is.
It's outpatient surgery. There's no hospital.
That's your subjective view of something you can never understand.
Okay.
That is a
Listen, hold on.
And that's not an opinion based on medical fact.
Look. Vasectomies are an outpatient procedure. You don't
do me a favor. Explain the process. No, explain what you know. Explain what you know about the process.
From your testicles to
your. Do you know how they do that?
Do you know how they do that? Sever it. It is an outpatient procedure. It's not something you even have a hospital stay for. It's actually quite simple. Easy, and the recovery is short. So again,
this is not about prevention. This is about after. This is about after a woman is pregnant, a man has no more rights, and a man should have rights. No. This is about after pregnancy.
Your body. I'm talking about
after pregnancy.
Yeah, no, okay. He's talking about
after pregnancy.
Hold on. Again, he's talking about what happens after, whether they're married or not. What happens after she gets pregnant, and for whatever reason, there's an issue.
You just have to accept it's her choice.
You don't just have to accept that. That is a matter of legality. That's not written in the sky and in the universe. That's not on the periodic table. That's not a fact. That is a matter of legality.
Take responsibility for your own.
Do you know that women couldn't always have an abortion? It used to be illegal, but they fought for the right, and now men need to fight for the right. Now men need to fight for the right to have financial abortion because it's a legal issue.
In some countries, abortion is illegal.
You don't want to take care of the child, and you don't want the woman to
Women don't want to either. That's why they kill them.
It don't make sense. You're contradicting yourself. You don't want to take care of a child.
No, how did I contradict myself?
You don't want her to have an abortion. So
no, I didn't say I didn't want her to have an abortion. I do not care what women do with their bodies.
Let me just say something real quick.
Abortion.
Let me just say something. I just want all the men to understand this is this deflection. We're just having fun right now. This is not to be taken seriously. Because we understand that this is not about actually having a discussion. This is just a parody of the discussion. So I just wanted to put that out there. Nobody, we can just keep going.
For sure.
But listen, I don't care what women do with their bodies. They should have that right. I'm saying if a woman, just like a woman can get a sperm donor and have a child and start a family by herself legally today, if she has sex with a man that does not want to be a father, then she just got a sperm donor. That man should be able to bow out and not have anything to do with them. And it's just like she went and got a sperm donor, which women do every day as well. Women can start families by themselves, be a sperm donor. That's what she did. She just decided to get a sperm donor.
All right.
That's what it is. And men should have the legal ability to opt out, just like women have the legal ability to opt out via abortion or giving it away. But I don't want women to lose that power. I want men to gain the same power financially.
Okay, sweetie.
Which would be fair. Can you agree that would be fair? Can you agree that would be fair?
No, it's not fair because
I said, can you agree that would make it fair?
Biologically, your choice happens before.
We're talking about legality. We're talking about legality. We're not talking about biological. We're talking about legality.
It is what it is. You unfortunately, you have to just suck it up because your choice happens.
No, we don't. We can change the law. We don't have to just suck it up.
Well, I suggest you go ahead and advocate for that law because good luck. It's not.
When women were property, did you say women, hey, you just got to just suck it up? Sometimes men are just going to beat you and do what they want. Just suck it up. Or did they change that dynamic?
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
She basically saying
you
pull
don't
out
care
game
about
should
the
have been
plight of
better,
men.
brother.
You sat here and told men to just suck it up on an injustice that men suffer, but you would never tell women to just suck it up when it comes to their injustice.
Depends on what the topic is.
You would never tell women to just, hey, if he knocks you around, just suck it up and just accept it.
You're upset because you don't want to take responsibility for your sexual reproduction.
No, I'm upset because there's legal inequality.
Look, it is what it is. There are a lot of things that are not equal.
It is what it is. Okay.
It is what it is. That again, if you want to change the law, I suggest you go ahead and advocate for that. Good luck.
Let me say this. For the
Good.
record, I am about men being responsible and having prevention. This is why I don't have any kids. This is why I don't engage in anything that legally ties me to any woman. And this is why I do it. But at the same time, he's making a legal argument. Now, I'm not
though, because there's no law that supports him. You know, if he wants to change the law,
I'm pointing out the legal inequality.
No, but
which you said is unfair and to suck it up.
But what he said,
choice, your choice not to have children happens before the pregnancy.
No, the parallel he's making is that before the law,
once a woman is pregnant, you got to hear this. Once a woman is pregnant, it's her choice, and that's the way it is.
The law says that because of the law. If we change the law, it won't be like that. If we change the law, it won't be like that. Your ability once we change that law, it won't work that way anymore.
Happens before pregnancy. Make a choice what you want and do that.
Once we change that law, it won't work that way anymore. You keep saying that like the law won't be changed. Like women always had the rights that they have. You didn't. Roe v. Wade gave you the right to abortion, and now you're just talking like it was just always there.
Right, and you know
that's not how it works. It is legal. It's a legal issue, which Hulk was about to explain, but you kept over talking him. Go ahead, Hulk.
Women had no body autonomy. They didn't have a choice, and they fought for that right to have a choice over their body.
And I'm fighting for the right for men to have a right over parenthood when they become parents legally.
Over parenthood, you're fighting for a right over somebody else's body.
No, I'm not. No, okay. What part of her body am I trying to control? Go.
You're trying to force somebody to have a pregnancy or not have a pregnancy. You can't.
No, I'm not. You're a liar. You are a liar. You are a liar. I never said that. You are a liar. I said several times the woman should be able to do whatever she wants to do. I said that several times. You are a complete liar. You just sat up there and told that bold-faced lie.
Again,
no. Okay, did I say I want men to control women's bodies?
Want to take care of their kids.
No. What did I say? What I said? Say what I said.
Because at this point, it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, you don't remember? No, you don't remember?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
you are full of shit. You heard me say I want women to be able to do whatever they want with their bodies. I just want men to not be financially responsible and just treat it like she got a sperm donor. Nowhere have I ever said men should control women's bodies. You're a straight up liar.
Somebody on here was saying that women shouldn't be allowed to have abortion, and I might have had you confused with them. But again, if you want to not have kids, you have the ability to do that.
I think at best what we said is that women have the right to have abortion. We didn't say anything about. We say they have, and his point is that men should have the right to opt out of what. Since women have the right to opt out, all things being equal, men should too.
But you do.
No, not legally. Legally,
men do not have the right to opt out after pregnancy. You're a liar. You keep lying.
Listening. I'm telling
you. No, because this is not about responsibility or vasectomy or beforehand. Tell me what a man can do after a woman is pregnant. Go. After she's already pregnant. Go.
Pregnant, it's her choice. Beforehand.
No, I said tell me what a man can do legally. What can he do?
I'm going to just stop because y'all ain't listening.
What can a man do legally after she's pregnant?
Let her make a point.
It's her choice.
So nothing.
She's pregnant. That is what
I said. Don't expect.
But
don't expect to hear what you want.
You have a choice. You guys are.
Oh no, this is just for the audience.
You have a choice. Take your choices. Take your options. But stop blaming women because they get pregnant and they want to keep their child. And
that's like telling women, hey,
be responsible for your.
That's like telling women, hey, if you dress a certain way and men hit on you and harass you, you have a choice. You could have dressed less slutty. Just don't dress less slutty and things won't happen to you. Hey, women, if you don't want to get knocked over the head, just don't talk back. You have a choice. You have a choice.
Yeah,
you see how foolish it sounds when we put it towards women's issues? This foolishness that you tell men?
Hey,
it sounds stupid, doesn't it?
My family is enjoying the ludicrousness of your comments.
God bless
I'm telling
the man
you
that
that
invented
the
leggings.
female equivalent of what you're telling men. Suck it. You told men to suck it up. All your choices are beforehand. It's just unfair. Just live with it. But if we told women those same things towards your issues, you would have a problem with it.
Oh, God.
I don't even know what issues you would say that to.
Oh my God.
You can't take it seriously, bro.
I can't take y'all seriously. I can't even believe.
But here's the thing. Here's a caveat conversation. Suppose the government, just took away all the women's rights right now.
Okay.
Let's just say, because remember, the government gave them to you. You didn't earn them. You didn't build them. The government gave them to you. So that means the government can legislate them away. The government did that right now, and all these jobs and opportunity that women had went away. You would have to go back to the old way. You understand that, right?
The old way.
I don't know.
The old way was pre-government intervention.
Yeah, I actually, Chuck, I have to get out of here. We've been on this thing, 3 hours in?
Yeah, that edible wearing off.
Hey, ask that man in the background if he agrees that men should have financial abortion.
He said no.
Yeah.
He said no. Oh my God.
I have children and I took care of them. That's
you take care of them.
He sound gay.
You don't sound certain about that.
No, I did. Don't even question it. Okay.
Are they past 18? No. Are they past 18? Now that you're part of the show, are they over 18?
He don't even sound like a straight man. That's what the fuck.
He said, yeah, because he said he took care, and then he says he take care. I'm trying to figure out what you
My children.
How the hell did his mic go out?
No, she muted him because
I need answers.
She silenced him.
Sound like a straight man, Truck.
She silenced him.
She silenced him.
Oh,
that's what happened.
You. My fault.
She
silenced
him.
She silenced you. She silenced you. My fault. My fault.
She told that man he was not to speak. She told that man he was not to speak without her permission, and she silenced that man.
He got silenced.
She silenced that man. Listen. I don't care about women having abortion or anything. I want the law to be equal. All I'm saying is a woman can have an abortion for any reason. It doesn't matter if she got a train run over by 30 guys. She can go in there and say, hey, I don't want this. A woman can give a child up for adoption, say, hey, I don't want this. I want men to have that same ability legally in a financial version where a man is not held responsible, period, for any reason after pregnancy, just like a woman can get an abortion for any reason. That is legal equality.
Okay, give me that little pass. Go ahead, get your little group together, get a pack, get some political leaders behind it, and get it done.
I am.
JR, let me add to that, man. Good point, man, but you wasting your breath, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, y'all been wasting your breath talking to this woman, man. At the end of the day,
man.
You 100% correct, but look, I charge her to the game. She want to be like that, let her be, man. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it, it is what it is. She make her own bed, she gotta lay in that bitch. You know what I mean? I deal with niggas who was raised by women like them. You know what I'm saying? I done got, you know what I mean? These are the same niggas who got their head. These are the same niggas who got their head cracked on the sidewalk, being locked up, doing 20 to life right now. You know what I'm saying? Being raised by single mothers like her, man. Fuck that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Let the community keep dying, man. Fuck that shit, man. That's all I'm showing, man. It is what it is.
That it is.
You know what I mean? That's just what it is. I done got in shootouts with these emotional ass, feminine ass niggas, man. Raised by women like her. Fuck that shit.
This group is amazing.
And I'm just keeping it 100, man. Let her be. All that feminine shit cool, and all the shit she teaching these hoes is cool till they step to a nigga like me. That shit dead. You can do all that shit till you step to me. That's dead. You can go my way or no way. No way is okay. Shout out my nigga, be your way, straight up.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, I'm out.
Okay, I've had 3 hours of this, so I have to get out of here. I got to get back to my family.
All right, yeah. Well, no, listen. So I do appreciate, because basically what this turned into, I guess, was more than just a questioning. It almost turns into, I guess, a introspection, I guess, of your personal beliefs, especially because I had somebody on a little while ago and they posted a super chat and they said, that they would support you and buy your book, because usually when we see Black entrepreneurs, including authors and whatnot, he came on a while ago and he was like, yeah, he'll support your book. Yeah, and you're right. It has been 3 hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, you know what? Listen, we're not going to see eye to eye on most things. I just maintain that the dating culture, I have no idea what's going on with it anymore. I think it's just gotten very, very, very toxic. I think it's just generally collapsing, falling apart. And me personally, I abstain from it. And I've said this 100 times to other people. It's like, after what I've experienced, it's like I just don't want any part of it. Now, I do intend on getting married. I do intend on having children. But my thing is, I absolutely cannot do it in this environment. I think that it's absolutely ridiculous at this point. And even this entire thing about abortion, the person who I marry, they're going to come from a culture where abortion and freaking, what is the other thing? Divorce, that those things don't happen. Culturally, they don't happen. So I consider that my hedge against the possibility of losing half my shit. And I have a lot of shit to lose. So I'm not willing to lose a dime of it. Not like that. Not like that. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and that other guy, Jeff Bezos, they got half their shit taken. Now, some of them earned it differently, whatever, but I'm just not willing to take that loss. So that's just how I feel about it. I might get your book too. I don't know how much it costs. I don't know if it's a pay. I think Amazon said how much it is, just to support you.
Well,
it's $20 paperback, huh?
Yep. You can get my book on my site or on Amazon. It's datelikeawoman.com. You guys can, come follow me and hate every feminist thing I post if you want to. I'm Kai Nicole on Twitter, Kai Nicole on Facebook, and I'm Kai Fly Mommy on Instagram.
Kai Nicole on, you Twitter. Said Facebook?
Twitter and Facebook is Kai Nicole, and Kai Fly Mommy is on Instagram. And, you found me through my YouTube channel, Date Like a Woman. This has been an interesting night.
Well, listen, if you're going to be an author, you have to be prepared to stand and defend your beliefs.
Oh, yeah. No, you're not the first person I've had this kind of experience with. And, it's crazy because the people who get angriest at my book, they do a lot of promotion for me. So I don't know how that works.
Well, just so everybody who's listening knows, how do you prefer your dick pics? Do you prefer them in 1080p or 4K?
Look, if you send me dick pics, we're just gonna laugh. Just know this. Okay. Just know we're gonna talk about it. I might even show my mom. We might even have a good kiki over it. So just know we might laugh. Well, actually,
Okay, yeah, it's too bad we couldn't get your mom on. That would have been fun.
My mom, she's just been listening.
Yeah, that would have been fun. I wish we could have gotten.
But you see, Big Truck, deep game. Now, the man in the back, I'm not going to disrespect that man. I don't know that man. He said he didn't agree with financial abortion. He has his reasons, whatever. I'm not going to disrespect that man. But notice how men go against their best interests. But this woman sat up here and said women should have the right to choose. Men, we got to start taking our interests more seriously. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree, but black men are never on the same page. You take 100 black men, ask them the same question, you get 100 different answers. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem.
That's true. You guys are a special group of men.
Well, here's the thing. What Kai did say that I listen, if you're not happy with the dating scene, it's your choice to abstain from it. And then when the women turn around and go on Kevin Samuel's show asking how can they get with you because you won't look at them twice, then maybe that'll be the time when they want to have the conversation. The problem is they'll be past the wall by then. So our problem is what we want to happen in the black community is we want to have healthier relationships early. My problem with Kevin Samuels is he's like an air traffic controller that's giving instructions to a pilot who's already crashed. We need to be giving instructions to the planes before they take off. So I don't want the black community to look like this, where you're looking at black women who are single and unmarried and single, because that's the main joke that racists throw at us in general, that you don't know who your father is and that your household's broken and nobody wants. I don't like that. And I would like to, wave a magic wand and fix it. I know that's not going to happen though, because I understand all the underlying issues. You know, so that's just me. Guys, let's do final thoughts because and as you do a final thought or final say something to the guests, a final thought, I'm going to drop you guys one by one because I have to respect her time. She's over in California, so I think the time is like 6:43 or something like that, I think. So, you guys, you have final thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I think the issue is that it's a cultural thing. I think that you know, the way it's going now, it doesn't work, and it was designed that way on purpose. I think that we need to define what a cultural marriage is, and is it possible in a society where masculinity and manhood is you know, basically dismantled. And I think that it's, you know, a lot of people don't agree with kind of patriarchal male rulership type of culture, but that's the only culture that does work where qualified, not just males, but qualified men who live up to a certain standard given by other men to basically take responsibility. And that's the main reason why men need full authority to take full responsibility, control their lives, bring some kind of structure and value system that prevents and negates all this illogical behavior and stuff like that. It's not happening with women. And I think that if you look at any culture around the world where men actually have a sense of rulership legally, the outcomes are better, and they have a more of an influence to kind of fight the pervasive government influence. So that's all I'm gonna say. Peace out. Thanks for having me up, and salute to everybody.
Yeah, thank you for showing love to the guest, Spiritual. Thanks a lot. All right, I'm gonna drop you because I have one person to bring in.
I'll go next, and then you drop me.
Go ahead.
My first time up here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Good discussion.
Welcome.
Again, my closing point to the woman, respect to her for you know, standing her ground up here. None of this is personal because I don't even know you, but that man in the background, again, I'm not gonna disrespect him. I don't know that man, but his denying the rights of men and her defending the rights of women. Listen, men, we need to understand this woman. Hold on. This woman may never have an abortion personally, but she did. But she said women do not need to lose that right. Women understand doing what's in their best interest. Men, we need to do what is in our best interest. Even if you're a man that would never personally use a financial abortion, you need to understand that it's good for your group as a man and code up around that and do what's in our best interest. All this relationship stuff is for the birds. Our only issue is our legal inequalities, okay? Once we get the legal aspect truly equal to where men and women are treated the exact same, the relationship stuff will work itself out naturally, okay? Once we get these laws set up and bad behavior isn't incentivized, everything else will work itself out naturally, okay? And notice how women like her will demean men and tell us we need to, in her words, quote, suck it up. That's just the way it is. But when it comes to women's issues, if we told them to suck it up, that's just the way it is, that's not an acceptable answer. So men, do not accept that answer as well, all right? This is not something set in stone. We have the power to change this. We don't need women to change this. Men, we need to work together. We can change it ourselves, and then there's nothing that they can do to stop it, period. Our enemy is other men, like that man in the background. No offense to him, but those are the types of men who go against the interests of men that we will have to fight to get things to where we need them to be. It's not her. She's not going to stand up and lay it down for this cause. She's going to go along with whatever the law says. Men, we have to change these laws. Women do not fight wars, okay, to change these laws. It is men who fight for these issues. We need to fight for what's best for us. All right, that's it.
Thank you, J.I. Thank you so much.
Yo.
I guess it's Be More Tales.
Yo. Thanks for having me up, Big Truck. Man, had a cold panel, cold stream, man, had some heavy hitters up on here. At the end of the day, she's an example of the modern woman. I mean, it is what it is. I charge it to the game. I frankly don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's just what it is, man. You niggas better tighten up, man. Stop caping for these hoes. Stop riding for these hoes. Don't betray your brothers, man. All you got is your brothers. And you niggas, man, you niggas will bend your back until your back broke for these hoes, man. But you'll be quick to shoot at your brother, rob your brother, do something to your brother, man. Yo, look, Y'all gotta tighten up, man. Stay sharp, man. I don't argue with women. I don't even have these type of conversations with women. It's pointless. You know what I'm saying? It's a waste of time, wasting my breath. But I had to get on here, man. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in, man. It was a what's the word? A pleasure. Thanks for having me up on here. Cold stream. Shout out to everybody. I'm out.
All right, thank you. Be more. Michael Garrido.
How's it going, John?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. I'm good. One thing I did want to add as well is, I agree with the guy who just said that right now. I think the problem here is it's a problem in our country. I think in our society. So I think it's more of a change. It's going to take a while for it to change. But I feel like in some regard, there are men who use, I don't know if you're going to give me hate, but I'm going to say toxic masculinity. Now, it's good to be masculine, it's good to show that you're a man and everything, but there's just men who are reckless. But I can say for a fact that my generation, Generation Z, has a huge problem with, the dating scene, because the thing is, we're trying to be more wary of ourselves. We're not trying to get caught up, because you got to learn from previous generations. So I feel like men have to be more, more like conscious. If not, then don't have sex. That's what I will say.
Well, again, I'm just going to say real quickly again, yeah, you can choose to abstain, but here's the issue. And again, it's funny, while we're talking, Kevin Samuels, I saw that his notification just went up, and he's got a show coming up. It says in 30 minutes, why are so many modern women still single? And I insist that the reason why is because this dating culture is not going to work. It's just not going to work. I honestly believe a lot of males have no idea how to have a good relationship, because they've been brought up in households where they're not seeing what a proper relationship is supposed to look like. And I think many females have no idea what a proper relationship is supposed to look like, because they're being brought up in homes without proper relationships. I'm sorry, what happened?
I think it's both sides of the spectrum, because I remember when I went to this YouTube channel, it was on a stream, right? And I think the guy was called the Man Mindset. And the guest that, went on there, he was like, oh, you know what? You're a beta male, blah, 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 from the sound of your voice, blah, blah, blah. Basically trying to make himself feel more high than people. Now, I went on there. He's like, oh, you're a loser, blah, blah, blah. He was saying all this shit. Now, I can't disrespect the guy either, because I don't really know him, right? But at the same time, that I think that's a huge problem. I think both sides of the spectrum are not ready yet, and there has to be change. On one side, men can't be bashing each other or whatever. They have to learn from each other. And I think, women have to get educated. Men have to be more educated, because the problem is in school, there isn't enough, sex education. And I think men are not, they choose not to be using protection, condoms. I feel like that some women, not all, but some women purposefully try to get themselves pregnant to get some benefit out of it. But yeah, no offense to the guest, by the way, a lot of respect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Garrido. I'm going to let you go now. I'm going to let Miss Kai Nicole, so she was so gracious to give us almost 3.5 hours of her time. Yes. So she obviously is going to get the last word. And basically, you can say whatever you want. Oh, and by the way, you got to make sure that you give me your phone number. And I don't know if you do Cash App or Zelle or whatever, but you got to make sure you give me your phone number. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go get my dick pics ready. No, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm going to go and get my Cash App ready. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm joking. But anyway, yeah. So we can handle it. I sent you a Facebook request, but I couldn't find you on Instagram. So it's whatever.
Kaifly.
Wait. Kai what?
FLY.
FLY.
MOMMY. Kai Fly Mommy.
MOMMY, right?
Yeah.
Oh, now I see you.
Yeah. And I don't have much to say. I mean, I have to say this was entertaining, and I thank you for inviting me on. It was fun. Yeah, we can do this anytime. And I appreciate you reaching out. You guys, read my book. It might not be as scary feminist as you think it is. You might find that I might help you too. I hear a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things today that tell me why a lot of you guys.
See, this right here is what I'm talking about. How you put this on Instagram and your man's not saying nothing about this?
About what?
See, he don't even know. He don't even know.
He's happy.
My woman is smart. She fine.
Yeah, turn that camera around.
Hey.
He's happy.
I'm a happy
this the guy? The guy looks like Kevin Samuels almost.
Not even.
No?
But anyway, it was fun. It's been a long time, and I'm hungry. And I've been
last question. What'd you cook today?
I didn't cook. My man.
What? You didn't cook? You made me drop my phone. What?
My man cooked today. And
really? What did he make? Oh man, what did he make?
Made a Cajun dish, and I'm hungry. Y'all are messing with my food.
Cajun dish, huh?
So I'm gonna have to get off of this chat. But anyway, follow me. Buy my book. Come to my website. I got a lot of blogs, a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff in there for men too. So come on over. And if you still don't like what I say, it's fine. It's fine. I can take it. If you come to troll. I'm going to say something back, okay? So don't get in your feelings because I'm not the person you can talk crazy to. I'm going to snap back on you. But if you want to really have a conversation, I'm always open to that. Please send me an email, datelikeawomanbook at gmail.com. And yeah, this was fun. So.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed your time. That 3 hours went faster. Well, 3.5 hours. That went faster than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish we could see the Cajun food. I wish we could see some of that.
I'll post it in my stories. Okay?
Post it in the story. All you gotta do is just take that camera over there and just show the food.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing all that.
You're not doing none of that, huh? Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, it is 9:55 here, and I guess it's 7 o'clock or something like that. There, I never understand the specific standard time stuff, but you enjoy your meal. And the guy off camera, make sure you enjoy your meal too, sir.
Oh, I've already eaten.
I hope your entire family. I hope they had a good time, and I really, really hope that you get a lot of exposure, a lot of sales for your book.
All right, thank you.
And just remember, if you do happen to get famous, just keep in mind, it's like somebody, there was a good man behind you who helped you get there, and you should remember him. And by him, I'm not talking about that guy cooking. I'm talking about me.
We're gonna stay connected. You cool?
We're gonna stay connected.
But you cool? You cool?
All right. So you guys have a good night. Thanks again for your time. You guys have a good night. All right.
You too. Take care, everyone.
I'm gonna contact you privately about transfer and whatnot. So I'll get to you probably in the morning or something.
That'll work.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Talk to you later. All right, thanks everybody for showing up. We had 170, 180 people. No, listen, December, Big Truck's not shooting a shot. She's much older than me. So no, it's I have a woman who's much, much younger than me. So I'm not shooting those shots. But anyway, we had over 100 and something people. We were going strong. So I'd like to thank everybody who was in here. I'd like to thank everybody who was showing love to the author. Even the people getting up here fighting her. And so basically, I'm about to end the broadcast. I don't know who will be next because I be trolling looking for people. Oh, snap. Gabe came through, man. Gabe, you came through late. You should have been up here when your man Fantastic was up here because he was on here with the host. I wish you had gotten in. You could have gotten some questions in. So thanks a lot, Gabe, for the support. And I wish you had gotten here earlier because you could have had a chance to go with the host. But I mean with the guest. But so thanks a lot, everybody, again for the support and everything. I'm gonna give the author, Miss Kai Nicole. I'm gonna be giving her a large cut of what we made tonight while we were on. So I'm pretty sure she appreciates everything that you contributed. And just remember, at the end of the day, yeah, we're not gonna agree on everything, but here you got a black author. And she's putting out books and this, that, and other. And keep in mind, a lot of these women are going to be reading these books and they were going to be reading it anyway. And I got Raphael here. Raphael is up there with the support. Thank you, Raphael, so much. It is now, 10 o'clock? I'm getting ready to go to bed. Thank you guys for coming through. Sister George, thanks. Raphael, all you guys, Gabe, thank you guys. Mr. Fantastic, Spiritual Hulk, all you guys, the usuals. So I hope you had a good time. I know I'm going to hear about this tomorrow, probably. But I'm going to log off now, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Whatever I do next, I'm going to try to get another really good controversial pick so that, we get a fire post going on again. So thanks a lot. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys on the next one.